Eugene, you guys ready? Got time.
I don't know. I mean, I know, but I just
It's
think
hard,
I think
it's
that
hard to get everybody
it
together.
is.
All right.
It sure is. There we go.
All right, let's gather today. We're going to first have our invocation and then our pledge. Commissioner Askew?
Please bow your heads, please. Kind and gracious Heavenly Father, I ask you to overlook this meeting with us tonight. Be with us all, help us make sound decisions, and let's hear what the people have to say. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. All right. We are officially into our regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners for Walker County, Georgia. This is August 6th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Welcome. That we would need to establish a clerk, a quorum clerk, please.
Commissioner Blakemore.
Present.
Commissioner Askew.
Here.
Chairwoman Teams.
Here.
Commissioner Hart.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Here.
Quorum has been established. Thank you. Now we must approve the agenda. I need to make a motion to the board that we have several things that are being amended. Item 16.1 and item 16.2 are two policies that we do not have ready for the board to consider tonight. So I request that those two be taken off. Can I have a motion on that, or a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of taking those two items off the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, thank you. The next two items I need to take off are items 16.6 and 16.7. This is the adopting of the general fund budget for 2027 and the adopting of the enterprise funds and special revenue budget for fiscal year 2027. The board has requested, and I agree, that we are going to remove those for tonight and continue our discussion about that. May I have a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor to remove the budget items from discussion tonight or voting tonight, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, so moved. All four of those items are removed from the meeting tonight. Now we'll move on to approving the minutes of the regular board meeting. Oh, hang on. So let me make a motion that the agenda is approved with the amendments. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the amended agenda.
Who seconded, please?
Mr. Blakemore.
Blakemore. Thank you.
All right, so the amended agenda has been approved. So now we'll move on to approving the minutes from the last meeting. The minutes from the regular board meeting of July the 9th have been sent to the board for review. Is there a motion from the board on those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Askew, any discussion? All in favor to approve the minutes from July 9th, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, any opposed? No. And so it is passed. Thank you. Those minutes are approved. Now we'll need to approve the minutes from the budget work session held on July 20th. What say the board, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor to approve the minutes from the budget work session on July 20th, say aye.
Aye.
It so passes with 100%. All right, now we'll move on to my comments, and I've got lots of comments all night long, so I'm going to save my time and turn the podium over to the CFO now for the for the financial position. Thank you, Christian.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or evening, whatever. I'm sorry. I thought I would get used to saying this many times as I said it. So today I have the May 2026 financial numbers. So I want to go ahead and go over that for y'all. Year-to-date revenues are $31.9 million. Year-to-date expenditures are $25.3 million. Year-to-date revenue is 84.41% of yearly expectation. Right now, our target is 8 months is 66.67%. And then our expenditures are 66.93%, which is a little bit higher than our target, but not by much. And this could some of this is being caused by the way things are billed. I know my audit for my department has to be paid in March, so that full cost is in there, but it's budgeted throughout the whole year. So currently, as of May 31st, sorry, I shouldn't say currently, but May 31st, our bank balance for the general fund was $28,616,084.83. So we are healthy. We've got plenty of cash, and we're doing good on our targets.
Okay, good.
Any questions about the May financials?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. All right, we will move into the first public hearing. This is where the county clerk will actually run the timer tonight, and the first person may come to the podium as she explains the rules to you.
Okay, on February 11th, 2021, the board adopted rules of decorum for public participation at its meetings. All members of the public who wish to address the board must first be recognized by the chair and come to the podium to speak. Each speaker will be allotted 5 minutes to make their comments. The time begins after you state your name and community you live in. Once you finish your comments or your time has expired, please return to your seat. Public comment during a public hearing shall be limited to the topic under consideration. We will have time for general public comment later in the meeting. So please state your name and your community.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Noah Darty. I live in Flintstone, Georgia. I've been a citizen of Walker County for right at 3 years now, but my wife grew up here and we reside in Flintstone with our 2 children, Lord willing, many more in the future. I wanted to start off this meeting not with an attack or nitpicking on line items, but with a discussion of words. Anyone with eyes to see can recognize that in our current political discourse, a war of words is being waged. Definitions matter, and I wanted to raise a couple to the board this evening because I believe they are important in setting the foundation, tone, and direction for this meeting and all subsequent ones. The first word I want to highlight is taxpayer. I attended the previous meeting, my first time coming to one of these, and realized just how often this word, and often only this word, is used to describe people like me, those behind me, and even yourselves. This word has only been in common use since the late 40s and early 50s, driven significantly, I believe, by New Deal politics. Before that, we were citizens, a good old word that communicates far more than a pocket to be picked. A citizen has rights and responsibilities. A citizen is someone who can self-govern and who ultimately owns the government itself, as the power of the government is derived from the will of its citizens. This isn't just a local problem, this goes all the way up, but when we reduce the nomenclature to taxpayer, it changes the relationship dynamic that we have between the elected and those who elected. I encourage you all to remember in your future addresses that you are not serving just taxpayers, you are serving the citizens that elected you to represent their best interest. The second word I want to discuss is revenue. To be fair, the definition of revenue is indeed, according to Webster's 1828, the annual produce of taxes, excise, customs, duties, rents, etc., which a nation or state collects and receives into the treasury for public use. I noted, however, that when this was used in the previous meeting, the discussion was around increasing revenue. Sounds passive, almost positive when you phrase it like this, but I'll be brief on this point. This is a whitewashing of what is actually occurring. Instead of stating clearly that taxes are increasing, less money in your citizens' pockets, less for local businesses to utilize to grow. My encouragement for this is that you guard carefully the frequency that this phrasing is used and be frank with what is occurring. If taxes are going up, say so. Don't try to sugarcoat it by flipping the script to passive or vaguely positive language. Public discourse will benefit from honesty and candor. And finally, the one that did irk me the most personally is the usage of the word investment during the last meeting. Investment this isn't financial advice, but I don't think that there are many line items in that budget that are actually investments. In an investment, you expect profit, an increase, or a return. My suggestion is that the more accurate word, expenditure, be used, as the CFO used this evening. Everyone nowadays loves to use investment because it sounds good, it sounds like progress, it sounds like good financial management, but in reality, roads, buildings, programs, etc., are all just expenditures because they will not, at least under typical government management, turn a profit. Value is not return. To be fair, many expenditures are good things to use money on. We need roads, you need an office. Many public services can be beneficial when run well, and my intention is not to debate where that line must be drawn. However, I do take issue, similar to the discussion on revenue, with a positive word being used to improperly describe something that would otherwise come under more scrutiny if properly labeled. Words are important. I'm sure that you'll be hearing plenty tonight. And I do encourage my fellow citizens to please keep in mind that you are addressing other human souls who do indeed have a lot on their plate. Kindness can go a long way to achieving favorable outcomes for all present. And to the board, thank you for the work that you have put in the last few months to try to solve the problems that we are encountering as a county. Count it a blessing that more people are wanting to be involved in their place. May God bless you and guide you as you seek to be ministers for our good, as he says in his word in Romans 13. And may you lead in such a way that we do not chafe under your yoke, as we also seek to obey our Lord in his command that we be subject to the governing authorities that he has placed over us. Thank you all very much and have a great evening.
Next, please, for the 2027 fiscal year budget public hearing.
You may approach the bench.
Yeah, come on up.
I thought I had to be recognized.
You're sorry.
Tell us your name and where you live.
I heard the rules and I wanted to abide by them. Stanley Matthews, Chickamauga, Georgia. I have a unique insight into this administration during this budget hearing and the time that we spent. I was part of the campaign team of Ms. Teams for a year. And taking office, we campaign on truth, transparency, and accountability. I must commend this budget. It's the most transparent document that comes out of your office since we began. It's your numbers. It's not the prior administration numbers. It's your numbers. It's this administration's numbers. It clearly shows gross mismanagement, 23 departments over budget, questionable department allocations, wasteful spending, $90,000 approximately kitchen remodel at the 911 center and a working kitchen. Fire hall kitchens that are rarely used, remodeled, zero spending priorities. It seems like we're using the shotgun approach. That's fine, that's your prerogative. Now we want to reward these same departments with more money to mismanage. And to me, it's laughable that these departments are over budget, and it's clearly by your numbers. However, we're going to increase their budget with what we're doing now. That would not fly in any business. But anyway, so we've talked about all this, and I've listened to the conversations back and forth, and it appears that we're down to 9 firefighters and some other stuff that we're going over that's being worked out. Public safety has always been such a concern over the past 5 years. Commissioner Blakemore even stated during one of the meetings that we've been putting this off. We've been putting this off for the past 5 years. We need to do it. Why now? Why at this particular point, these two commissioners are on their way out the door. Why do we have to do it now? It seems odd to me. I don't know. I do know something about public safety in real life. Not what I've seen on a promotional video, not what somebody's told me. I don't know that this is the exact order, but I think it is, so I'm going to say approximately. But it appears that our number one call on our fire department and emergency workers is lift assist. I had a very dear friend that I love and miss very much. He was an elderly man, fell and laid in the floor for 5 to 6 hours, 3 feet from his phone. He did not have the strength to crawl to pick up his phone. He could not do it. No matter how many public safety workers was on his street, no matter how many public safety workers was available to him, nobody would have known he was down. Accidents are going to happen every day. They're unavoidable. Number 2 call, car wreck, whatever, I don't know the proper terminology, car wreck. My son, Reagan Matthews, was killed in a single car accident 8 years ago. No amount of emergency workers, could have saved his life. I know that. The man on the scene that was there in less than 10 seconds, told me there was nothing I could do. Your son was dead when I got there. 10 seconds. Accidents happen. I watched. I was 40 yards away from the accident. And we've got a great, awesome field of emergency workers. This is not nothing on them. But whenever we try to budget for these things, we cannot save the world. They are going to be accidents. Number 3, structure fire.
Sorry.
My dear friend Keith Patterson lived in a trailer off McIntyre Road in Catlett. He lived there all his life. That's what he could afford. He worked for 20-something years at Shaw in maintenance. And he was just a hard worker. He was doing all he could do, raising 2 single girls. But his neighbor started a small stick fire 50 yards away across from a sagebrush field. On a windiest...
Sorry, your time is up. I'm sorry. We've got to hold to the line tonight. There's so many people that want to talk.
Thank you.
Is there anybody next that wants to talk about the budget, 2027 public hearing
You can come
budget?
up, Evelyn.
Yeah, you don't have to raise your hand. You just come up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you for trying to do the right thing. Just remember to tell us who you are and what area you live in, please.
Okay. I am Evelyn Garmany. I live in the city of Chickamauga, and Mark Askew is my commissioner. And I'm here because my main concern right now in looking at the budget and doing the research that I've done is the fire department. The fire department has had a 49.8% increase in the amount of money that they have been paid, that they receive from January of 2023 until what is projected for 2026. And when I get some information from the government, we have had from 2023, January, until June of 2026, an 11.7% increase in the Consumer Price Index. That's what it's costing us to live. That's what it's increasing our cost of living. So I'm really concerned. Our income expenses are going up 11.7%. And here we have the fire department asking for 49.89%. The fire fee is a fee. It is not a tax. I don't know why it's on the bill that goes out, but it doesn't belong there. Years ago, it didn't belong there. Years ago, we had an all-volunteer fire department. And when they went to the point where they started charging the fees, if you didn't want the fire department to turn up on your property, if you had a $15,000 building, you could say, I'm not paying this fee. Because quite frankly, I'd rather my house burn down unless somebody's in it than have to restore it after the fire department's through with it. I would rather take a total loss as to have to go through it. I've been through it with a tree that fell through my house, and I know the damage that is done. But I want some justification for what they're doing. The fire department gets 61.79% of what the sheriff's budget is. I see Walker County sheriffs all over the place. They're out arresting people, they're doing things. I want to know what the people in the fire department do. I want to know how many structure fires they go to, how many car fires they go to, how many land fires they go to. I'd like to know how many accident calls they go on. Rescues, do they go on any kind of domestic disturbance? And how many people are going out on each of these calls? How many firemen do we have? How many volunteers do we still have? Because when something goes to 911, I see a police officer goes out, whether it's city or county. You've got an ambulance that's going to show up, and you've got somebody from the fire department that's going to show up. But just like Stanley Matthews said a minute ago, unfortunately, Reagan was dead. The officer on patrol there that went to that, there was no need to call the fire department in. I don't know how many people responded to it. but he was there to handle it. There was debris to be cleaned up. That's done by the tow companies. The fire department goes out. You're paid every call that goes out. And if we have volunteer fire department, I want to know if there's expenses associated with that as well. But I have no problem in funding the fire department, but I want to know, I want it doged. I want to know where the money's going, because I cannot have a 49.89% increase in my expenses in my home and not sit down and look at every dime that is being spent. And if it's justified, it's justified. But with the ambulances going out, the ambulance, every time they pull up somewhere, they're going to bill somebody for it. If they take somebody away, they're going to bill somebody. We are paying them a god-awful amount of money through the county. They're double dipping. Do we deserve some of that money back? If we pay them to respond to these and they collect $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for the call, why do they get to sit on that money with us giving them almost, $300,000, $400,000? So they're double dipping. We need to determine where the money is going, where it can justifiably be cut, and we need to have an accountability to the citizens
Thank you.
of the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please. Next speaker, please. We're still on the public hearing for the 2027 fiscal year budget.
Chairwoman, teams, and board members, I'm Robbie Tate. I live in Lafayette, District 3. Tonight, I'm speaking on behalf of a group concerned citizens, Walker County citizens. On July 23rd, this group met to discuss the FY 2027 budget proposal. In this meeting, the group brainstormed options to address the anticipated $2.795 million shortfall without raising millage rates. On July 30th, this group submitted a letter to the board. This letter presented these alternative suggestions along with financial risk not addressed in the budget proposal. The letter requested that the board delay the final vote on the FY 2027 budget until these suggestions and risks were addressed. Using the same letter, a petition was developed to collect signatures from Walker County residents in support of this request. Due to limited time frame, the petition was circulated electronically and primarily through Facebook. With no live canvassing or print publication, this petition has collected 82 electronic signatures in 7 days. We also received multiple reports of residents wishing to sign but being unable to do so electronically. The petition was made available tonight for live signature prior to the meeting. An additional 29 signatures have been collected. A call-in campaign was also started via Facebook. Number of calls made. We believe the board has seen and heard evidence of community support for the request to delay the budget vote. On behalf of these residents, I publicly submit this request again and ask for your serious consideration. And we want to thank you for honoring that petition by tabling that for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else is next? Next, please.
Erin Hendricks. I live in Chickamauga. This letter was sent to the board July 30th. Dear Chairwoman and Commissioners, we are writing to express our concerns regarding the fiscal year 2027 budget proposal. On July 9th and 23rd, a group of Walker County residents met to discuss the proposed budget. Considering the $2.8 million shortfall anticipated in the proposed budget, this group identified areas to reduce county expenses and increase revenue without increasing taxes. We also identified potential risks that could significantly increase the county's budget deficit. This group, along with Walker County residents represented by their signatures, hereby requests that the Board of Commissioners delay the vote on the approval of the budget until the following suggestions and concerns have been considered and addressed. This group suggests the following opportunities to increase revenue to address the deficit. sell surplus or underutilized county assets at fair market value, expand grant writing efforts and improve oversight and management of existing grant-funded projects, evaluate all county positions, programs, and assets to identify and eliminate those that are non-essential or no longer provide sufficient taxpayer value, create a sustainable business plan for Mountain Cove Farms or involve the public in discussions on the best path forward to sell this asset for maximum return. Enforce the county vehicle policy in compliance with relevant IRS regulations and prohibit the use of county vehicles for personal use. Improve administration and enforcement of business license requirements to ensure all applicable businesses are properly licensed and compliant. And review and, if necessary, renegotiate the county's agreement with Macklemore Resort to ensure an equitable and sustainable revenue stream that reflects the growth and impact of the development. It is the responsibility of the board to exercise fiscal discipline and ensure that every taxpayer dollar is spent wisely. This group suggests the following for responsible expense reduction to mitigate the deficit. Require each department to operate within approved budget and strengthen accountability for budget overruns. When a department is projected to exceed budget, require the department head to implement corrective measures, including spending freezes, delaying non-essential purchases, limiting overtime, or if necessary, unpaid furloughs. Evaluate all county departments, programs, and expenditures to determine whether they serve an essential public purpose and eliminate or consolidate those that do not provide sufficient taxpayer value. Conduct regular reviews of vendor contracts, purchasing practices, and the procurement process to ensure the best value for every dollar spent. Strictly adhere to Georgia's competitive bidding laws and county procurement policies to promote fairness, transparency, and fiscal responsibility and to protect taxpayer dollars. Require periodic reviews of departmental budgets to identify potential overruns early and allow corrective action before deficits occur. While reducing expenditure requires difficult decisions, these decisions are necessary for the reduction of the anticipated deficit and the establishment of fiscal accountability at every level of county governance. Finally, this group identifies risks that should be considered before the budget is finalized. These include, but are not limited to, pending litigation that could result in significant financial obligations, potential increases in vehicle insurance costs due to liability concerns with current policy, issues surrounding Macklemore Resort and potential conflicts of interest under Georgia law, long-term financial impact of pension fund obligations, and the importance of maintaining consistent and equitable property tax assessments. Each of these issues has potential to increase the county's financial liability. If they are not addressed during the budgeting process, they could create financial pressures that are difficult, if not impossible, to overcome in future years. These recommendations represent practical, responsible approaches that deserve serious consideration and careful analysis before asking taxpayers to bear additional financial burdens. You have a responsibility to provide transparent, accountable, and fiscally responsible leadership. The decisions you make today will have a lasting impact on our community. And it is important that the voices of the citizens you represent are heard. We again request that the scheduled budget vote be delayed until the above suggestions and risks are considered and addressed. And we thank you for your consideration of these recommendations prior to the final approval of the budget. We appreciate your willingness to serve Walker County. And I will add, we appreciate you listening to this petition and tabling that budget vote for tonight. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to say more stuff about that? Anybody else for the public hearing? This is for the fiscal year budget.
My name's Ed Fleener. I live on Highway 151. I've stood before you last month. And to reiterate, when do we say no? When do we say no? Budget? I ask you how you go about creating the budget. You bring people in, and you said you ask questions, and I said, do you not really get down to the tax of saying, do you really need this? Why do you need this? Not just ask questions. My personal budget, my home insurance just went up $50 a month this month, $600 a year now. Where do I go? I got to look at my budget. Where do I take that $50 from? I have to give up something. I can't go ask the tax commissioners and come before you and say, hey, my insurance went up $50. You going to help me out? You know what you're going to tell me? E&O. So this is what you need to do is look, and I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just another citizen that has to live on a budget, got savings. But guess what? Just like you have savings, you got what, 12 million something slush fund? This 1.9? Go to it, bring it out, and say no to the agenda, to these budgets. And the fire department, I've addressed this years ago. I've seen them running up down the road, going to restaurants, going to stores, picking up food, taking back to using fire trucks. I followed them. And it's supposed to be stopped. And we've also got what is the little vehicles, the brush fire trucks, I think they call them. I see it running up and down the road constantly with 2 people in it. Why? We can stop and look. I have to take that $50. I got to quit going so much. I got to time manage myself, trip manage myself. So why can't these people do the same thing? Live within your budget. Say no. You know what I call the insurance people. You know what they're going to tell me? I'm sorry. Well, so-and-so, it goes up. They're not going to give me nothing. So that's what each department needs to do. Each leader, be accountable. Be accountable, that's all. As managers, you do work for us. I'm with a gentleman, you do work for us. Nobody's trying to belittle you. We appreciate it. But you remember, you should be for us. For us. And to me, the fire department, this fee should go out the window. So that $50, you take that $50, and that's not the only thing. I used to pay about $700 a month on utilities, period. You know what all my utilities is now? Because everything going up, around $1,100. Just utilities. Thank God I ain't got a mortgage. I will give him credit for that. Because if I had a mortgage, look at people on fixed income as me and my wife are. But thank God we put some back. And guess what? We got to go get it from if we get in a tight. Take it out of savings. So you, as commissioner, head commissioner, I believe that's what you need to do this year. Go take it out of that and say no. Because next year we're going to be right back here. We've been here since BB, bless her heart, I know she's been passed and gone. But I've told some, when she was in commission, we did well to have 4 or 5 in a meeting. I'm glad to see people finally standing up. If we'd all been here years ago, we wouldn't be where we're at. We'd have slowed this thing down. So as commissioners, your constituents, think about us. Think about those that's out there that, I know, man, we've got all kinds of money coming in this county. Dollar stores, I count 6 within at least 8 miles of my house. How many do we have in Walker County? Does that not bring in tax revenue? How many new homes permits that has been let? I seen it one time and I forgot. Is that not tax based? We get all this county-owned property back in the tax digest, we'd be doing good. I can't believe, what it was, 25 properties that you're putting back on the market now?
Sorry, your time is
Thank
up.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, next, please. Anybody else?
My name's Philip Warren. I'm from Chickamauga, and I'm not here to fuss about a whole lot. I just want to address 1 or 2 little small issues. I watched the live meeting that y'all had the other day, and I took real bad offense with what one gentleman said. And I'm not going to point him out, and don't care. But the statement that the gentleman said was he don't understand. And you can go back and watch the video. They don't understand the mindset that we don't want the millage rate to go up. We don't want our property tax to go up because the county has grown. I'm going to tell you that mindset to the gentleman that said that, and you need to listen real close. If the county is growing, last year we had a millage rate and it was set. You had an $18 million surplus at the end of the year. if that millage rate was sufficient enough to equal a surplus, and your county is growing, that millage rate goes to every person, every house, every business, unless y'all give that away for free as far as the taxes to the business. But every item that's added to the county gets taxed. If that millage rate still applied with all common sense to the person that said that, you will have an excess if you continue to grow. No matter if you need 9 firefighters, I don't care how many you get. I don't care if you get 100. But if it takes 100 and it's grown that much, then that means that many more houses and businesses have been added. That's going to add that much more. If them people attended what we already had at the same millage rate, and we had excess, not access, but excess, then we should still have an excess at the end of this year, unless something's wrong. If something's wrong, I'm asking y'all to please look at it before you do decide to raise it. Because in all reality, the mindset isn't simply that we're raising the taxes. You're also raising our property value, so that's adding to your revenue. This man right here knows it. 0.015% is what the average is. Average household's $245,000 is a medium household. You're already going to get over $393,000 in revenue above what you had last year, just with the 0.015% that the county is already assessing our homes. So I'm not going to fuss about a whole lot. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. But the gentleman said that, you need to back up and look what you're saying. All of us really matter. All of us care. And it's really ours that you're taking from, not yours. Okay? Thank you. And I'm going to yield the rest of my time to the next person that comes up, which we're allowed to do. Thank you.
No, it's okay. No, we don't do that.
I'm Ned Yates. Madam Chairman, one thing I'm become aware of, Mr. Askew's son is involved in the fire department. I believe he's an assistant chief. He might consider recusing himself from this vote on the budget. And a personal comment, go along with everybody else. When a child has a piggy bank, you know, y'all can figure out that's y'all's revenue and money you have in the bank. When it's empty, the child has to replenish it. Either an allowance maybe that's coming due, or maybe he goes and works, but he's got to have it replenished somehow. The piggy bank is limited. The other way he can do it is he can rely on the parents' generosity. And that's what y'all are asking, of us to be generous about money we may or may not have. And I just want you to think about that principle. And I don't know if there's any other members of this commission that may have involvement with any of the government subsidiaries within your budget. But if so, they've got any family, they probably need to recuse themselves. I know Mr. Hart has recused himself repeatedly on the Concord Road issue because of his family. I think it's the same apply to each one of y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to talk about the fiscal year budget topic? Okay, we'll move on to the public hearing for the extending the data center moratorium to 180 days. Who would like to speak to the commissioners and the board as a whole on that topic? Please come forward. Same rules apply, please.
Jonathan Stapleton here from Lafayette. I think that the fact that you're talking about a moratorium and getting together a study group is an admission that you understand they're dangerous, because you're not doing that when you're throwing up Dollar Generals. You're not doing that anywhere else. You understand from all these other counties down south, you can use them as test subjects. You don't need a study group. The water that they're taking up, they're poisoning. If you get the best data center you can, you give them the most regulations you can, they're going to use a closed loop system. They're going to put a rust inhibitor in it, probably chromium, and they're going to get some kind of biocide so it doesn't clog it up. All of that, even with a closed loop system, will get pushed back. All of our water comes from limestone aquifers. I'm sure most of the people in this room live on wells. Those wells will be poisoned. They'll go dry. We don't have the electrical infrastructure for this. To build that, we can end up like Coweta County, and you can use eminent domain to steal these people's homes. The alternative is to just run them straight through on their property. And the sound is unbelievable. It's not just sound pollution. This is infrasound. These are acoustic weapons that are making people nauseous. It's giving them seizures. People are moving away for this. So what I can't understand is, outside of tax revenue, what is a single benefit that they will give to anyone in this county? There's nothing. There's nothing at all. It's tax revenue. Can any of you name a single benefit? Okay, so I think that extending the time, that does nothing. You're kicking the can down. I think a study group, I think that's garbage. Where are you going to get them from? I think it's nothing. I think that it's an excuse. I think you need to ban them. We don't need them. We need clean water. This place is known for hiking, for caving. People are fishing in City Lake. So what do we need data centers for, other than tax revenue? And it sounds to me like if you just fix the budget, you wouldn't need any more. Thank you.
Next, please.
Hello. Jamie Halsey, Chickamauga. I know a lot about the service, and I have the same concern about data centers. So kicking the can down the road, 60 days to 180 days. So tell me, how many and where are the potential data centers at? Why would you have a study if none have not been requested around here? Anybody? Oh, I got 4 minutes, 26 seconds. No answers, or is there somebody looking at the county?
No. I saw her shake her head. Is that a no?
That is not an answer, no.
That was a no.
That won't be true.
Well, okay. Well, I'll refer to the budget a little bit in this.
No, you can't. I'm sorry. This is for the data moratorium.
Okay,
So this is the subject now that we have to stay on. Have
okay.
any more to talk about for the data
So do
moratorium?
you have any concerns with the data centers?
What is your concern about the data center?
No, the gentleman spoke highly of the concerns on the data centers. I'm just wondering if you have some.
So you agree with him, everything he said?
I wouldn't say everything.
Okay. What do you not agree with what he said?
The infrastructure to get there, who pays for the infrastructure, the water use, the poisoning of the water, whether it's closed loop or open loop, whether power supply is sufficient, the EMFs that put out that people are concerned about anyway, the noise pollution that could happen. You know, we did get into a landfill dispute about people surrounding that area. So when you talk about an area and the potential of an area, giving people opportunity to sell out maybe before something like that comes in, you know, people might want to know some things beforehand. You do know of confidentiality, as I do statewide, of people like pilgrims coming in. That's Project X, Project Y. Those people might have liked to know at least a landfill was coming in that since this county knew or the state knew since the 70s that was going in. But nobody here, even when they knew, told those people the potential before that. So there is a concern, legitimate concern of citizens leaving. There's legitimate concerns of health issues. I measured EMFs and power lines that people had concern with, but we satisfied their worry. So satisfying that worry, you're going to have a public group of concerned citizens in in a setting to hear concerns, and you already know the concerns. There's national data. There's current concerns about this. So it's the call to y'all. Do you want to satisfy the citizens, not member? I like to think of this county as where I worked at a co-op with members that own the company. These are taxpayers on the company, and we satisfy the taxpayer or the members who served us. So we're just asking if there's places concerned of the citizens around these places. Would you not let it out sooner than later? Here's a potential site. Seems like we heard not long ago, some of you, they already named some potential sites. Like the Barwick property has plenty of water, Chickamauga Creek, other places that have well waters. You know, communication's a big thing, public service. And again, y'all work for us. Hard to believe, but that culture, you need to realize you work for us. So. Darn, I missed the budget talk.
Nathan Gibson, Flintstone. I'm just going to give y'all another chance to tell us who is going to be involved in this moratorium, if we have it done.
The packet of information for this meeting has that completely stated.
Everybody that's going to be involved in
No,
that.
it talks about the process. No one's been chosen yet.
Nobody's going.
So
Somebody-
there's a process that we are going to follow, and that's what we're talking about tonight, is the process. So what are your concerns about the data center?
The first gentleman said it best. I mean, he said it more eloquently than I ever could. So I think we should just axe it. I mean, we got the perfect county to be a refuge from everything that wants to come in. I mean, we could keep our streams and our aquifers clean or cleaner. I mean, we've already, this region has already been, had problems with PFAS, forever chemicals. We've had outside people come in, do their dirty work, and now we've got data centers that want to potentially come in, and we can talk about the environmental effects, but I mean, let's talk about what are the data centers actually processing? You know? I mean, we've got flock cameras coming up, like popping up in this county, here and there. Let's talk about this encroaching police state that might be coming up in this county. So, are we all about that? I thought that a lot of people in here were anti-big government. But, I don't know, maybe not. But if y'all are willing to go full bore with this, like I said, I didn't have access to the packets. I guess they got taken up before I got here. But, you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'll volunteer as tribute. I'll be on there. I'll represent the pink hair hippy dippy Democratic Party.
What
Because
area did you say you lived in?
Flintstone.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we're up there, right there. We get serviced by the EPV. The rest of y'all get serviced by Georgia Power, and they're, huh? Oh, okay. But Georgia Power, they're one of the biggest ones that are bringing all this in. And even my own party is actually talking about working with the data centers a little bit, because they're employing, what's it called? Oh, help me. Can't even think of it. But anyways, let's just keep them out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else on the moratorium for the data center? Next, please.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Well, it won't take me long because I hadn't planned, I don't have any documentation to back up what I'm saying, and I always have documentation. I'm Evelyn Garmany from Chickamauga. And my biggest concern when I hear about the data centers, I've heard about the water usage, the electricity, but my biggest concern is eminent domain. And selling property at reduced values to get these people in here, because I guarantee you there's some money under the table somewhere. People are being run out of their properties that have been in their homes for generations because of taxes. And now we're looking at data centers wanting to come in, and we're going to do an eminent domain to let these people come in. Well, what kind of tax breaks are we going to be giving them to come in? Look at Macklemore Cove. What kind of tax breaks did we give them, and what kind of trouble are we in now? Because they are polluting our streams. We've got to look long range. It won't be in my lifetime, but it will be in my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren's lifetime. And why do we need all these expanded data centers? What have we been doing in the past? I think one of the things that he said really hit home to me, and that's why I thought, okay, I want to say something. The flock cameras that are going up.
We need to stay on topic, Ms. Garmany.
Well, but the data centers are going to store the information.
Just like they do everything on your phone right now.
For everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything.
Yep.
So what has happened that is causing such a demand for this, if there isn't something else going on with it? And I really think that we need to think about this long range, especially eminent domain. And with the gentleman that was talking about the packets, I think those need to be put on the website with your agenda so that everybody would have access to it, and that would really help a lot.
They're there every month, yeah.
Oh, they are there today?
In fact, they go to the public on Friday before the meeting, so.
Okay, the agenda is on there, but I didn't realize the packet was.
The packet's on there after this meeting, yeah.
Okay, but you need the packet before the meeting to see what's going to be discussed.
So there's a link that is downloadable. When the agenda gets published to the public, there's a link that has all of this included in
Okay.
it. Every month.
Every document
I'm
we
sorry,
have.
I didn't realize that, but thank you for letting me know, because I'll have it the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for overstepping.
No, you're fine. Thank you for stepping in. Anybody else, please?
My name's Ralph Harrison, Building Now. One statement about the data centers, and Brian Hart knows this. These data centers out west, there's a bunch of stillborn calves around them. So they do affect animals and stuff. Now, I got a question, please. I hope you can answer it. Have y'all signed an NDA with anybody that's wanting to put a data center in here?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Next, is there anybody else that would like to come up and speak about them? Okay.
I'm Stanley Jackson. I live Catlett.
We talked on the phone this week.
I'm sorry?
We talked on the phone this week.
Yes, we did. Didn't talk about this, though.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna follow these folks and give you guys one more time, one more chance. Who knows about a data center that is interested in moving into Walker County? Does any of you guys know anything about that?
No, is there one that you know about?
No, but later on, we're gonna find out that somebody was interested in it.
Okay. But you don't know now if anybody's interested in it?
Well, why are we discussing it then?
Because the public brought it up last month or 2 months ago that they were very worried that our county would entertain that.
Okay, August the 6th, I bet you in the future, we find out that somebody is interested in coming to this county, and I bet you they have been in contact with you guys. That's all I got to say.
Okay,
So
thank
y'all
you.
had 4 chances now to own up to it.
Thank you. Next.
My name's Michael Gilbreth. I'm from the Corinth community in Lafayette.
Okay.
I would just like to express my opposition to the data centers. Many of my neighbors and many of the people I know that I come in contact with on a daily basis are opposed to these data centers. Aside from the environmental aspects of this, the negative aspects of the data centers from an environmental point of view, and from utility costs rising, which will hurt middle to lower income families. Whatever revenue you may gain from these data centers, you're ultimately going to lose, because a lot of families will relocate. They will leave Walker County, and families who were considering moving to Walker County will move elsewhere. They will not come to Walker County if these data centers are allowed to come in, because there's too many negative aspects to these things. And the gentleman earlier enumerated all these, so I won't repeat all of that. But you're ultimately going to see a negative impact. So I would just ask people to think about this before they allow these data centers, because down the road it's going to have a negative effect on this county. You're going to see a loss in revenue, not a gain, because you're going to see people leaving this county, and you're going to see people who would consider coming here to reconsider, they will not come to Walker County. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, please?
Hi, my name is Liz Ireland. I live in Lafayette, and I'm also in opposition to the data centers, but I also would like to know whether you would consider extending the moratorium for 1 year so that we can get more information and we can disseminate more information to our neighbors and our friends. I'm not accustomed to public speaking, so forgive me, but there's a video that's going kind of viral online right now. I believe it was from CBS 10 down in Atlanta, and it's taken from somebody's backyard in Rome, Georgia, right next to a data center. It's about 500 feet away. The noise is deafening. It goes beyond noise pollution into the realm of torture. And I think people really need to understand what an effect that's going to have on families, on kids, on animals. This is destructive stuff. We don't need it in this county. Please extend the moratorium for another year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Kirk Warren. I'm from Rossville on Chickamauga, right on the cusp there. I hadn't planned to come up here or anything, but I would like to provide a little bit of different perspective. And I can because I'm a 37-year IT tech. I know a little bit about computers. And most are saying, let's wait on this. And I can't agree more, because I've seen the evolution of computers. All right. I've seen personal PCs from this big that are now in your pocket. Data centers are no more than a giant server. If you've ever walked into a server room, you know how noisy they are, how cold it has to be in there for them. And it's always at the last minute, something breaks. But in waiting on this, you're going to find more and more information coming out from people, such as myself, that are providing the information that you need. For instance, any of you can pick up your phone right now, do a search. You get results, right? Why do we need more, bigger, and more land to do the same thing we can do right now? We can tweak. We can uninstall some apps and make things run better. But do we need to take somebody's property? Do we need to use up the resources? I've lived here for just a short time, and I've seen my electric bill more than double And that's after going through my home and replacing all the bulbs with LEDs. It's like they discovered that. And then my bill went down, and then it doubled. What do you think is going to happen when these centers are chewing up all the data and all the electricity, and they need more and more and more, and then we get a gas bill on our electric bill for the electricity that comes from a dam? Where's the fuel? They're going to find a reason and a way to skate around things. But I'm telling you, from seeing hard drives in a computer go from literally this big, the size of a shoebox, to now the size of a flash drive that fits in your pocket. So in a year's time even, they're going to have the ability to reduce the size of these and not infringe on people's families, their homes, their livelihoods, the things they've looked forward to all their lives. The greed is behind it all. We can do the search. We can do the things that we need to do on our devices. So the need for all this extra stuff so they can take over, so they can hallucinate on us. My wife and I sit on the porch every night and play around with AI. I think it's hilarious because in less than 10 minutes, I can have it blue screen. And if you don't know what blue screening is, that's just what we call the circle of death. And basically it hallucinates and just gives you the blank stare. So to build everything around this and have that be the number one concern when we've got plenty of other things to worry about, like our taxes, like our property, like our streets that are in ill repair. And they repaired all the streets around me, but didn't do mine and the next door. That's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, from a different viewpoint, I know a little bit about computers. And I hope that people will take some information from somebody like me, because I instruct people how to use their computers all the time. And my favorite saying was, if I can teach my parents how to use a computer, I can teach anyone. I'm not asking you to learn how to use a computer, but you know how to modify your resources to make sure that it's the best for everyone. We're all in this. And if we don't all look out for each other and pay attention and listen to those that know how, then we're in a bigger mess than we think. So again, I didn't plan on coming up here, but I had to say something because I know a little bit about it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Yes, ma'am. My name's Alan Durden. I live in Center Post. And like all these folks, and especially this gentleman, they made very good points. I have a question for you, though, or for the commission. What is the actual purpose, the point of a 180-day moratorium? What are you going to get for that? What are we going to get for that?
That was the advice of our outside counsel, so we have time to review and study these comments from everybody and research.
Okay, so the reason I ask that is I'm presuming that our friends in the Gold Dome in Atlanta are already working on this problem too. Am I delirious or am I right?
You're asking me to know something that's happening in the state capitol for
Yeah.
the moratoriums? Every county
No, not
does
the
their-
moratorium, ma'am, for the question of what to do about data centers for the state, for
Well,
us.
I can speak to what we're doing. It's just a temporary restriction on them. So again, we can do the research that, well, we're not going to do it. We are appointing people to do it. So we're going to appoint people like yourself, and it will be none of us making this decision or this suggestion rather to the commissioners. So that's what I know today.
So again, if Atlanta comes down in 181 days and says, okay, folks, we've got a plan, it's going to vote tomorrow, it's going to pass, here's going to be the law concerning what to do about data centers regarding water, power, property rights, noise, pollution, light pollution, proximity to schools, churches, shopping, homes, farms, roads, highways, bridges, airports, and all that.
Well, these will be public meetings, so people that can come observe the discussion that work group will have in public. So anyone is able to come and listen, but the work group will be the people that's chosen by this board from the community of their districts.
Regardless, if Atlanta makes a law, you're going to have to follow it.
The state would
precede anything the local government does, yes.
But the county
So-
determines the planning and zoning laws for our county.
That's right.
So why are we putting an arbitrary time limit on this?
I'm not following the question, because you asked me what the state's doing.
It's 180 days. It could be 180 weeks. It could be 180 years.
Well, like I said, our council felt like that was enough time for us to,
My point is, ma'am, your decision is going to be turned into a moot point at some time because they're going to make a law on this. The Congress of the United States is going to pass a law regarding this.
But we don't have any planning and zoning restrictions or ordinances or anything on this now. We stopped it so they can't come in here until planning and zoning, some restrictions
that's
can
fine.
be put in place.
And that's essentially my point. There's no need to place an arbitrary date on this. Let's learn more about it. Let's decide what is most important. Is it water, power, people's homes, people's property, people's businesses, their churches, their shopping, their schools, their children's playgrounds, where we're planning for future schools, roads, settlements, shopping. I'm just saying, don't limit yourself to one piece of time. It's going to happen. They're going to come here. If they don't come here, they're going to go to the next county or the next state. All the people building buggy whips in 1892 were astonished when cars came out the next year. All of a sudden, they realized they were going to be put out of business. So you can't just put an arbitrary piece of time on it. It's going to happen. It's going to change. We just need to be ready to move with those changes. They're not necessarily bad. These people are going to buy massive amounts of property. They're going to build big, high-end buildings. They're going to hire some of our folks either to do the construction or the maintenance or the operations of these facilities. So we need to be able to work with them because they're going to come here. They're going to want to be in close proximity to Chattanooga. They're going to want to be in close proximity to the channels of communication and business to Atlanta and Birmingham and Nashville because this is where we're at. We're right in the middle of all this stuff. So we need to be prepared. We don't need to just put an arbitrary piece of time on it. And I don't think any of us knows enough. I certainly don't. And I applaud the last gentleman. He has years of experience. And he knows what he's talking about. But still, this stuff's going to happen. And people are talking about what's going to take jobs. It's going to consume all our electricity and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, your time.
It's going to do those things,
Thank you.
but we will grow into them, ma'am. We grew into automobiles, airplanes, and rockets.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good comments. Very appreciated. Who's next, please?
Robbie Tate, Lafayette. So I think there's a lot of confusion about what the purpose of this moratorium is. I take the board at their word when they say no one's looking. I think the board is trying to get out in front of somebody potentially coming to this area and wanting to implement or put a data center in Walker County. The purpose of the moratorium is to allow the citizens to have input, to develop the plans, to develop the codes and place restrictions that could potentially eliminate any data center ever coming here. They're going to take the input of all the citizens and with all your concerns, and they're going to come up with some kind of code that's put into the county's ordinances that control what can happen with our property. And so I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as to this. And at the end of 180 days, if there's nothing that's finalized, then we can extend it until we come up with something that is developed as a result of this input from the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Hello.
Hi, how are you? I appreciate you all being here, everyone. I actually moved to this county 2 years ago. I live in Summerville, Georgia, the very tippy-tip edge of Walker County, so I've never really been involved in honestly what's going on in this county.
1 second. Can I get your name, please?
I'm sorry, Serena Floyd.
Thank you.
But I live in the Emergency Valley, and this is such a beautiful place. And I came from Catoosa County, which when I moved there, I moved from Florida, and I thought, wow, Catoosa really has it going on. They're doing stuff in their county, and I heard about Walker County, and I saw Walker Rocks, and I started seeing more and more about what this county was about. And what I thought that they were building was kind of like a small town, rural, come experience the outdoors. So when I think about that, I obviously don't think about a data center, especially in this area. This is a huge county. I didn't even realize how big it was until I had to go get water, and it's at the other end of the county, and it takes you 40 minutes to get there. So there is so much growth that can be done here. And I do think that the main thing that the citizens want to say is the transparency on it. In Catoosa County, the subdivision that I lived in did not have finished roads. They had many discussions because there was so much development so fast with the subdivisions in that area that they didn't have any zoning regulations. So a lot of developers came in and just did whatever they wanted. And I think that's the main concern here. Number one is this what we want our county to be known for, which is data center? Or are we trying to develop a small town community that is growing with tourism, farming, and all kinds of other things? So I don't know that I have any questions. I'm sorry, I'm a little late to the game on this. I do appreciate the time, but I think it's something to consider. The other thing is AI is here. We are having these data centers. And one thing I think as citizens that we all need to recognize is that, just like he said, we're storing all this information. I'm 55 years old. I'm sorry, I'm 56. And try not to remember that. But I came from a generation where we didn't have the ability to store all these things. Okay, so I'm thinking about my own personal storage of what I have, millions of emails, photos, everything. How much am I taking up in my own personal space of data that I don't have to? So I guess we have to decide, even asking ourselves, what are we willing to keep that we're building and taking away our earth and everything else so that we can store what? Emails? What? So I think that's another question that we need to ask and present in dealing with this and looking at it is, what do we want for ourselves? And I don't think it's a bunch of data centers, because we're going to continue to create more and more and more and more, and it won't stop. And I think that's the purpose. I appreciate you all taking the time to look at putting restrictions on it in this county, because I think it's very important. It's a beautiful county. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next.
Ed Yates. I wasn't planning on saying anything. Two questions, I guess, or two comments I have. I was a manufacturer's rep for a number of years in electronic components. I know a little bit about obsolescence. One of my first sales was for components for IBM's PC Junior. Y'all may remember that. It's thrown in the dump now. They've scrapped the gold out of it. My understanding on with AI and the data centers, a lot of them have about a 10-year life expectancy, and they're obsolete. So that's something that the commissioners need to consider when they appoint the people they're going to appoint. And they maybe consider appointing some other people also that may have some expertise that none of those people have. I don't know about a moratorium. I think it sounds like a good idea, and it would be wise. I think we need to also look at zoning. And I don't think that's been looked into. Mr. Pittman's probably here. He's the chairman of the planning commission. He needs to come up with a plan, and that's up to Angie, Madam Chairman, to do so, to get him to do that. I think that would be appropriate. But like I said, remember, the gentleman that talked about the obsolescence of this equipment and the lady that preceded me talking about what are we storing? Is it your cat hitting jumping a hoop? And some of that's what's in it. And so how do we determine that? And this is y'all's responsibility. We've elected you to take that responsibility. And that is, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want your job. But that's what you need to be thinking about. And that traditionally, I don't see Walker County using much anticipation and prior planning on anticipating prior events. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next, please?
Hello, I am Zachary Graham, been a lifelong resident of Walker County. And as many of my neighbors before me have, listed their concerns with the data center, I more or less have just, this is my first time coming here. And I'm just more or less coming here to voice that I would like to extend them, whatever it was, the moratorium. Yeah, I really don't want a data center in Walker County. Like I said, I'm a lifelong resident here and I want to keep it the way it is. It's just pretty much my piece. I'm just trying to make my
Thank you.
voice heard. So,
Great. Thanks for coming tonight.
yes, ma'am.
Anyone else on the moratorium? Extending the moratorium? Anybody else?
Can we go twice or just once?
Just once, I'm sorry. All right, no one else? Anybody else? Okay, then, I'm sorry, was there somebody? Okay, so then we will move on to the planning and zoning items. The next two items are information only. These are the minutes and the agenda of the planning and zoning committee that meets once a month. So those are just there for reference. They're always available through our website. So we'll move on to the public hearing of the planning and zoning. There are 3 items this month to look at. So,
Can I make an observation? You never hit 16.4.
16.4?
We're not there yet? I thought we were.
No.
Oh, no, that's a little bit later. Thank you, though. Just to be clear, we're at number 11 right
You
now.
want to speak on the moratorium?
Well, 10,
Because that's the data
10.
center.
10, well,
10.1.
I just said, well, those are just information only. 10's, yeah, so
right.
we're on 11 now. So the 11 is the public hearing, and the first one is for Gary and Patricia Baker. Are the Bakers here? Would they like to come on up?
10.
Thank you.
Angie,
Tell us who you are.
we're on 10 on the public hearing. 10 public
Gary Baker.
We
I live
are-
in Flintstone, Georgia, and I'm looking to get a variance to
11.
build a small home on my property from the 60-foot setback to around 30 to 33 feet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Baker, hang on one second.
Okay.
We've got a little discussion going on about the number, the letter, or the number we're on the agenda.
So this is a public hearing and then we hear it in 11.
We hear it in 10 and vote on it. The actions are in 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're on 10 on the
No, the
public hearing.
decisions are in 12.
You got something different than we do.
Your agenda's different.
12 public comments.
So what do you have?
I have 10.
Public hearing, number 10.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Oh, did you take those off? I'm sorry, I thought we were keeping these on. Number 10 is the
For the
informational stuff.
only, yeah, I
Okay,
moved it.
okay, well, then I am behind. So we are at number 10, I apologize. So we are still at the public hearing for planning and zoning. Mr. Baker, you have the floor. Thank you.
I'm just requesting a setback variance of 30 to 33 feet on my property instead of the 60-foot setback to build a small home for my mother-in-law that's she's up in age, and so that's it.
Okay, does the board have any questions for Mr. Baker?
No, ma'am.
All right, Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here in opposition of the request for the setback? All right, seeing none, that we will move on to the second one. Leanne Roberts. Is Miss Roberts here? Hello.
Hello. I'm Leanne Roberts from Rossville, Georgia. And I'm here today to ask for a variance for an additional home and a private drive, and this is Turner Lane in Rossville. Little history, my family's lived on this property for over 100 years, and we had purchased 2 parcels from family members. We had built our home on the first parcel in 1998, and in 2021, we purchased a second parcel, which was from my grandmother's estate, and the intent with that was to build my son a home. There's an old home on there that belonged to my grandmother from 1942 on this second property, and it has been abandoned for like 35 years since she passed away over 35 years ago. And we would love to be able to refurbish that old home, but it's in poor condition, and we were told by a builder that it would cost more to fix it up than it would to build a new home. So we had gone to the Planning Commission, and I think there may have been some confusion there because there are actually 2 private drives. And they thought that all the homes, I think they said they thought there were 9 homes on Turner Lane, but there are 2 roads. Off Cora Ann, there's Turner Lane and there's Meadowview Drive. They're both dirt and gravel drive off of Cora Ann, and there are houses on each. There are 6 homes on Turner Lane with a Turner Lane address and 5 homes with a Meadowview address, as well as the abandoned home. I think some of the other confusion was the home that was considered the 6th home on Turner Lane was my oldest son had put a small home, not quite 1,000 square feet there, and it was actually on our parcel, the first parcel that we bought that has our home and my son's tiny home. And the second parcel that we had bought with my grandmother's abandoned home, we had planned to take that down for my youngest son to build a home. And then we had been told about, when we went to go to the Planning Commission, we had found out about attending a variance to have over 6 homes on a private drive. As far as the road, we maintain the road ourselves. We all have tractors. The road, everyone that lives on the road has city water. We are accessible to police, fire trucks, ambulances, even tractor trailers have been up there. As you come up the road, there are 2, and I have pictures if I could share. I have pictures that show.
Stop our time for just a second.
It shows where Turner Lane comes in, and then this is Cora Ann, and this is Turner, and this is Meadowview. And then Meadowview goes up, and Turner continues. Our property is there. And then I kind of made a listing of the homes that are in green are Meadowview addresses, and one up here even. This is the abandoned home, and then the house is on Turner. It is on Turner. And that was the one that sits empty.
Mr. Hart. Thank you. No, this is mine, thanks. Okay, you can start her time back again.
Thank you. When you go up the road, like I said, there's 2 separate driveways, and then Turner Lane continues up to the end, so there's a large cul-de-sac for a turnaround. We also have many long driveways that can be used for turnaround, even empty fields. We don't have any problem with traffic up there. My son would not be any additional traffic because if he gets a home, because he already lives with me and drives the road daily, and there are elderly family members that live on the road that no longer even drive. These homes are not bunched together. We have over 7 acres ourselves, and there's 32 acres for these 6 homes that are on Turner Lane where they're located. And the road is probably well over a quarter of a mile long. Everyone that lives on Turner Lane is family. No one is opposed to my son having a home there, and it's kind of been our tradition for over 100 years. The family members have kind of wanted to hand the property down to other family members so we could, all live close together. And as far as my son, this has always been his dream to live out there since he's a child, this young child. This is what he always wanted to do. He's worked hard. He's saved his money. And, and we went to find out about him beginning that process and found out about the variance. So that's why we're here today. to see if we can have a variance for more than 6 homes on a private drive.
Is there any question from the board?
So-
if this is approved, are y'all going to tear down the dilapidated?
Yes,
And the new house will go on
be in that
lot?
place. Yes, sir.
That's all I have.
You have a question?
Are you building on Turner Lane or Meadowview Lane?
Turner Lane. It's technically where our address is, even though there is one house up above ours that has a Meadowview address. But our address is Turner Lane.
So you're saying that there's not more than 6 homes or 6 home places on the private drive, is that correct?
There are.
There
There
are.
are 6 homes on Turner Lane, plus the abandoned home, which I think is not, I don't think is counted. There are 5 homes on Meadowview with a Meadowview address.
So
Because
it's
if
my
we-
understanding if they're planning a zoning meeting, and Randy's here, and we probably won't get an answer tonight, it was my understanding there was more than 6 home places on this private drive. If that's the case, that's why it was denied. If you're saying that is not the case, then we really need to relook at that, but we won't be able to do that tonight, but we need to verify that. Because what you're telling me is there was a mistake made at their meeting.
I think the confusion was where there was 2 roads. I didn't have these pictures at the time. I didn't really think about it when I went
Okay,
to speak.
understood. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
So this photo, or this diagram shows 6 homes on Turner, but the red one is the dilapidated
The
one?
dilapidated home,
That-
yes, that we wanted to take down.
Yeah, okay. And that's what Mr. Blakemore asked you, was if that new home, the newer home would replace this one?
Would go in place of that one,
Okay.
actually in the same spot on that same parcel.
And that would make 6.
It would actually make 7. There
That's
are
why I
6 already.
There's
Okay, I see.
there's
the other
7 there now, counting the dilapidated. So I asked her, would she take that one down to put the new one there?
one. Yeah, I didn't see this one up here.
Well, and I got how did we get a Meadowview that far down Turner Lane?
I
See,
do
that's-
not know that. I
Yeah,
don't,
that's a-
I don't know, but that is the address.
Huh. Well, there, so that would be 8 if that's, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know what's, this is Meadowview.
Anything else from the board?
So you're counting that as Meadowview, but it's got a Meadowview address.
No, ma'am.
Good?
Able to figure that out. 'cause
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
The way it works is they'll make a decision after we hear all the public hearings of these 3, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone here in opposition of this request? All right, seeing none, we'll move to the 3rd one. I'm sorry, there was one, okay, I'm sorry, Jack, hang on one second.
I'm not in opposition, I'm kind of for this, because I see this drawing is not as good as it maybe could have been. But if you look on Q Public, it does show that Meadow Lane comes off and they tie in together. And it has some homes on it, but the Turner Drive does not. It just has those 6 homes on it.
Thank you.
So that's, I don't know, this drawing doesn't really show it, but there are 2 different, but they do tie together, but really, there's only 6 on Turner.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I would say it again, is there anybody in opposition of this? No? Okay. So now we'll move to the 3rd one, the Battlefield Veterans Village Foundation, and tell us your name and who you are to this organization.
I'm Jack Staples. I'm the commander of the American Legion Post 214. I'm also the CEO of the Battlefield Veterans Village Foundation. We are requesting that we have some manufactured homes placed near our property, which the foundation bought from the Legion. In researching this, I've put in, if you open up the first page of your packets in front of you, sir,
The blue
please.
packets, this is his.
Those blue packets, I'm sorry. The first thing you see on the right-hand side is State Statute 8-2-183.1 conditions under which manufactured home, real property, form and filing requirements, and certificate of a permanent location. Manufactured home, in the second paragraph, not been issued a certificate of title and is going to be put on a foundation, does not require the variance. But having said that, I went through the planning and zoning and through you to make sure everybody's in complete agreement with this project. On the left-hand side, you'll see the map of the Chickamauga battlefield overlay for the district. And at the very top, and I didn't draw this map, so. And at the very top, where it says Fort O up there, you'll see a little red dot. Actually, the red dot is on the south side of the road, and it should be on the north side of the road, but it was so small, it was hard to get it in there. And then the picture following that in the yellow area you'll see is where we plan on to place the homes. Underneath the state statute, I put a front page, a second page of our Constitution and bylaws and what our purpose is. And one of the purposes that we have in our Constitution and bylaws is veterans facing homelessness and veterans who are out on the street right now. The next four pictures are at random in no particular order. Those are mobile homes that are located within the area within a mile of our property right now. Those are kind of run down. The next thing is this all started because of Katie's mother, Judy. Katie is sitting here next to me. She had the desire to see veterans get off the streets. We had a veteran who died because he was mentally and physically abused by his wife. So that's what started the ball rolling. And we have other veterans that are living in squander, and we need to get them in a decent living conditions. The next picture here is an artist's conception and drawing of what it would look like. The architect who drew this for me was not aware of the variance, the 10-foot, he just made it at 10 foot. And we know now that it has to be 30 feet between buildings, which it will be, of course, and it says as per code. The next drawing is, you'll see what it would actually look like in the living conditions and the size of it. It's 15 by 40, it's a little over 700 square feet to each unit. The next picture is an actual picture of the units themselves, and that's what they look like. And if you put two of them, pictures right here, side by side, they would look something like this nature. Well, that's the wrong picture. They would look something like that with 30 feet in between them. And like I say, they're manufactured, they're not trailers. And then the last piece of paper that's in there is a letter from Mr. John Culpepper. Upon a visit of the property site, I foresee no negative impact the project will have on the historical area of the Chickamauga battlefield and heritage tourism. Therefore, I had no issue to approve the requested variance. So that's all for your consideration. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay. How many was it again that you were gonna build?
I'm sorry?
How many?
We're only good for 4 on this particular piece of property.
Okay,
And the restriction on that is because we have to go and on the septic tank rather than, we don't have sewer yet.
is that 2 of the units put together and 2 pairs, or is it 4 of those 2?
2 pairs, one on one
gotcha.
side of the property, one on the other side of the
Okay.
property.
That's a good start. Does the board have any questions? No? It's a very
Thank
nice
you.
project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the information. We appreciate that. It's very helpful. Is there anyone here in opposition of this project? No? All right. Well, then we will move directly into the decision-making. So let's go there. So the first First one, we'll go back to Gary and Patricia Baker's request, a setback variance for property located at 794 Rock Creek Road in Flintstone, Georgia. Tax map and parcel number 0-047-027. The Planning Commission recommended this variance be approved. What say the board?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any other discussion about this project? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, so moved, 100% yeses. The second one was Mrs. Leanne Roberts, who asked for a variance for more than 6 driveways on a private drive for property located at 282 Turner Lane, Rossville, Georgia, 30741. Tax map and parcel number 0-121-011. The Planning Commission recommended this variance be denied. What is the pleasure of this board?
With the information we heard tonight, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve this request contingent on the dilapidated structure being tore down.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor of approving this with that amendment?
I had a discussion,
I'm sorry, no.
So I would like to see, I mean, we just denied one of these last month for more than 6 on a private drive, and I understand why. And Miss Roberts was questioning that judgment from the Planning and Zoning Board. So I would like to see us take that back to them and ensure that they are correct, or if they're incorrect, note that before we vote on this, because it's, as I say, last month we denied one for more than 6, correct? Yes.
Okay, so do,
But there's already 7 on this one. If she tears one down, I mean, it's not putting anything more than what's on it.
let's see if this one passes. Is there a, let's take a
But
vote.
if you table it, there may only be 6. So because if that one that she's got drawn on there is Meadowview, you're at 6 and we're in compliance.
Okay, so
That's what I was looking at, is that one that's way out there is listed as Meadowview Drive.
That's why
their
we want to
address.
table, if we can table it for a
Clarification.
month to see.
Can we get John Person up here?
John, is John in the room or outside?
I don't think he's here tonight.
He was earlier.
He was earlier, but he might have left. He's here? Okay, thank you. Our hall monitor said he's here, so. Hi, John. I know. We're talking about Leanne Roberts' request for more than, a driveway with more than 6 driveways already on the road.
Turner?
Yes.
Yes,
uh-huh.
ma'am.
So, Mr. Blakemore, did you have a specific question, or did you just want Mr.?
Yeah, so how
Person.
many is currently on Turner?
I believe on Turner, including the dilapidated one, there is, I believe there is 7, including the one that needs to be demoed. Which the property that she's asking for, there is a garage in the back that they built maybe 2 years ago, if I'm correct. But that drive is unique and can accommodate what they're requesting currently. If they tear the one down, it is a merging of private drives that the citizens or the properties owners have done. It's not something that the county did. It's just the way that the 2 drives come in. They did do a cross section so they can better navigate the 2 private drives. But I believe there is 7, including the one that is 5 on the one private drive and 7 on the other. So it appears that there's 6 on each, but I'd have to look at it again.
But one drawing shows there's like one way down there. It's got a Meadowview address. So
Yes, so that would be currently 6 with the
Meadowview.
dilapidated one. It'd be 5 if they tore that down, and then it would be 6 on the other instead of 5. It's kind of that last address. It looks like it's on Turner, but I believe it does have the other address. So it's
that puts you at 6 and 6.
So you're saying they would have 6 on each private drive?
I believe that's correct. If that, we'd have to look. Those have been addressed for a while, except for we'd have to look at how that one is addressed. I believe it's I don't wanna lie to you, I'd have to look
No,
at
I
that
don't
and
want
see
you to. I wanna
if,
ma- I wanna-
see if.
I think we need to know
See
this.
if it's on Turner or whatnot. But these private drives are unique. We were just discussing this, you know, it's, the one that we denied last, or that you guys denied, excuse me, at the last meeting. Each of these private drives are definitely unique to what it can accommodate. You know, some have, larger partials, some of the private drives are, you know, a better drive, you know, it's not just a single lane track and whatnot, so. Unfortunately, some of these are individual basis, on these, from my belief. Some can accommodate them, some cannot.
So if we approve this to tear the old one down and to put the new house in that spot to have 7, it would not hurt anything emergency traffic or anything, in your opinion?
In my opinion, no, it will not affect the traffic flow or impede traffic on that, especially to get first responders in. The way that the property owners have created that intersection and the 2 private drives, it's easy to navigate.
But it
through
would
there.
be more than 6 if they did that, right?
Yes.
Not if you've got a meadow view.
And now if they demo the 1, I believe that will make 6. Currently, you're talking about on contingency that you
It'll be
demo
6
the
and
1.
6.
It'll be 6 and 6.
If you demo the
Right.
1, yes, sir, that's
And
correct.
the address is
That's what you're
correct.
saying, right, Robert? 6 and 6.
Yes.
Okay. So
Now,
it
would, currently, without demoing the 1 and using that, you could use that as the partial address. If you demo that, it would be 6 and 6, that's correct, from my understanding.
So
It is,
So then it wouldn't even require. Well, it requires a variance because the one's got to be torn down. Right?
that's correct, yes,
Okay,
sir.
understood.
Yeah, someone could come along and want to rehab that house and it would be 7 and 6, but
Yeah.
if they demo the 1,
So your motion
Is
requires them to
contingent.
tear that down for them.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good.
All right, so let's recap the motion. Mr. Blakemore made the motion with the amendment, or with the, it's not really amendment, it's
Contingent.
condition, thank you.
Condition to tear that one down.
And then, did we have a second?
Yes.
You had a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is there any other discussion?
No, ma'am.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right. Ms. Roberts, you have your driveway. Okay. Now the third one is the Battlefield Veterans Homes. The Battlefield Post 214 AL Ltd. that requests a variance to place 4 manufactured homes in the Chickamauga Battlefield Overlay District for property located at 540 Park City Road, 314 Memorial Drive, Rossville. The Planning Commission recommended this variance be approved. What does the board have for this, please?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And it so passes. You have your 4 homes. Yay. That's awesome. Okay, I'm now going to call for a break for 15 minutes. We're pausing.
15.
pretty good. Okay. It's okay, Mr. Hart. I just lost another one.
You know, trying to make Winfred's influence into this.
Can we all stare at Gene when he comes back? Welcome him back.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
I need some supper. You didn't miss lunch and supper?
I didn't eat lunch either.
You hear it?
You got a little reserve.
I think I'm on now.
You right?
Okay, we are back from recess. We're in session again. All right, we are now at public comment. Ms. Clerk, yes?
All right, just a reminder, please, all members of the public who wish to address the board must first be recognized by the chair and come to the podium to speak. Each speaker will be allotted 5 minutes to make their comments, and the time will begin after you state your name and community you live in. Once you finish your comments or your time has expired, just please return to your seat. Thank you.
All right, who would like to be first? Please approach and tell us your name and again where you're from.
Excuse me, Stanley Matthews, Chickamauga, Georgia. We came here tonight expecting to hear about the new budget, millage rates, higher taxes, transparency in government, and importantly, public safety. Hearing phrases to describe public safety throughout these budget meetings has been laughable to me, as I will demonstrate with the following facts. There's nothing laughable about a life being lost, so you'll see the comparison in just a second. We may save a life. If it was your house, how many firefighters would you want there? Everyone should expect to pay their fair share. These phrases is what we've heard. But sometime in mid-April 2026, approval was given to Commissioner Askew to coordinate with the Walker County Attorney, Ken Gerard, to conduct a covert soil water sample test from the retention pond and natural pond at Walker County Industrial Park. Commissioner Askew, upon guidance from Mr. Gerard, instructed 2 of our professionally licensed department heads to inspect these 2 locations, and they did. After these inspections, upon further advice from Mr. Gerard, Commissioner Askew gave the green light to one of these licensed department heads to go covertly pull soil water samples. This department head returned to the previously inspected locations with proper assistance, and a professional environmental company representative pulled these samples. These samples were sent for analysis. The results of the analysis were returned to the county. This begs the question, what were the results? The
Not
ci-
seen them. Haven't seen the results.
Okay. This begs the question, what were the results? The citizens of Walker County don't know, but you do. What we do know is, after results were returned, Commissioner Askew sent the same department head with someone else to attempt to inspect the sewers of a company located within the industrial park. They were refused entry. A short while later, some employees from a local water provider showed up at the same business attempting to do the same inspection. They were refused entry. Keep in mind, the company in question is currently involved in litigation with Walker County in federal court. FOIA requests for information regarding these samples have been denied. We do not know the reason for the denial, even though the law requires a reason. If a FOIA request is denied, there is no denial. You refused to inform our Economic Development Authority, of which you're a board member, about these actions. You admitted some knowledge of these activities, but refused to discuss with Stephanie Watkins, Director of the Economic Development Authority, anything pertaining to these soil and water samples. Again, this begs the question, have the results of this lab analysis of local soil and water samples been reported to the EPA as required by law? Can you assure us citizens of Walker County that the drinking water in the town of Lafayette that serves 9,000 customers and the surrounding area is safe from any dangerous levels of PFAS or any other dangerous contaminants? Will you comply with the Open Records Act and provide information concerning these samples through FOIA requests? Now, you know why hearing the words public safety is laughable throughout these budget hearings. None of these behaviors, covert activities, failure to disclose lab results for water and soil samples, and refusal to comply with FOIA requests are acceptable from our duly elected officials. I don't know if you want to take the time to answer that, but if I got 53 seconds. We taxpayers have two things to give our government: our money and our trust. Our money can be taken from us through asset seizures, and we don't pay if we don't pay our taxes. Our trust is something we loan each of you 4 years at a time. Madam Chair and the board members, you have completely destroyed our public trust in Walker County government. Thank you.
Next, anyone else would like to do the, yep. Next, Mr. Pope.
This is just talking paper I'm using.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioners, my name's Jim Pope, and I'm from Villanelle. Commissioners, I believe that by closing the Concord Road is greatly increasing the odds that a bad catastrophe, disaster may occur that causes some great harm on some of its citizens. In the past, Concord Road has been a valuable alternate road for vehicle traffic during emergencies. A good example could soon occur when the state builds a new bridge across East Murchie Creek, which will likely block traffic for several months. With a closed road, it leaves only closed Concord Road, it leaves only one outlet road for the people living along East Murchie Road that is north of where Richardson Road joins the East Murchie Road. Then, if an unexpected disaster should happen, such as tornadoes blowing down trees across the road, many residents are then trapped with no vehicular way out and no way in for emergency vehicles. It is common knowledge that it is critical for medical personnel to quickly reach the victims that are severely wounded or are having natural medical problems such as heart attacks and strokes. Otherwise, the victims may quickly die or suffer permanent health problems. It can also be essential for firemen and law enforcement personnel to quickly access the problem area. A school bus can be a good analogy. The bus has a front door and a rear door, exit door. As a hypothetical example, let's suppose the bus loads up with children for a trip. Everything on the trip goes okay until the bus, for some unknown reasons, veers down a steep bank and overturns. Many children are severely injured and bleeding profusely. The front door is blocked and the able children start scrambling to get to the rear door. But to their surprise, it will not open due to a poor repair job on the latch. The children are trapped and many die because first responders and medical personnel can't get to them in time. Later, persons responsible for this faulty bus and emergency door may have to go to prison for many years because of criminal negligence. But the principle of the bus example can also apply equally well to the example of the trapped East Amerchie Road residents as previously described. Since it is your responsibility to keep the county's infrastructure, including roads, reasonably safe and accessible for its citizens, I strongly urge you to keep the Concord Road open, especially when our community citizens may need it the most. Deadly disasters can occur quickly and without warning. During the storm of '93, the ones on Smith Gap Road in West Amerchie up on Taylor's Ridge got trapped when trees started quickly falling and completely blocked the road both ways. One person tried to walk out, never made it, and was found dead. Accessible and safe roads can be a lifesaver for some people, and this would include having open access roads for the East Amerchie citizens. And so thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, next. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward?
Shane Whitfield, Chickamauga. One of the important resources that we have in our county is our public transit system. It's been in our community for many years, and that program, 80% of the funding from the federal government pays for the buses themselves. The state government pays 10% of the cost of the bus, and the county pays the other 10% of the bus. Along with that, the federal government pays 50% of the operational cost, and the county pays 50% of the operational cost, but you also share in the revenue of the fare that is taken at the rider. So if you're charging $4, the federal government gets credit for $2, the county gets credit for $2. I know this board has an action item on the agenda where y'all were considering looking at cuts to transit, both in the budget, the hours of operation, and the number of trips and the number of days going into Tennessee. And this board has the right to do that. I do express one area of caution for you tonight, and it's the equability of all riders of the bus. Under Title VI of the IRS Code, it goes into protecting citizens against race, color, national origin. But also, on top of that, when it comes to public transit, you have what is called federal environmental justice. And so the federal environmental justice, or EJ, is a legal principle requiring that all people, regardless of race, color, natural origin, or income, receive equal protection from the environmental hazards and have the equal access to the decision-making process for federal projects. In transportation, the environmental justice governed by Executive Order 12898 and expanded under Executive Order 14096, which explicitly directs federal agents like the Federal Transit Administration, FTA, to prevent federal funds from being used in any way that causes disproportionate to high and adverse effects on minorities and low-income population. While Title VI of the Civil Rights Act strictly protects against discrimination based off of race, color, and national origin, environmental justice expands this net to explicitly protect the low-income houses from being financially or physically marginalized by the federal infrastructure and transit's decisions. Y'all have the ability to adjust the transit rate, but I would advise and caution you to make it the same for everybody. I know it sounds good and it feels good to say we're going to give our seniors a discount. Totally get it. A lot of businesses can do that. But when you're using federal money, you've got to follow the federal guidelines, and they say you've got to treat everybody the same. And so if you have a rate that's different for one class versus another class, and under the environmental justice, one of the class is someone's level of income. So I would recommend if you do move forward today with a rate increase, just make it the same for everybody. You have the full preview to change hours of operations, routes, number of buses, all of those things you have the authority to do. You just have to do it equitable and equal for all classes. So if you made it $10 for everybody, not a problem. Make it $5 for everybody, not a problem, or anything in between. It just has to be equitable, because my concern is this is such a valuable need in our community that we don't want to jeopardize the federal grant. If the county loses that grant, you're going to have to pick up 100% of the cost of the buses, which now we're only paying 10%, and you're going to have to pick up 100% of the cost of the operations, which is now only paying 50%. So just make it equitable for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who's next? We're still in public comment.
Hi, my name's Danny Thomas, and I live in the greater Villanelle area. I've got some pictures here that I'm gonna let y'all pass around and look at. This is the road that they just paved not long ago. This is what's going on. Tires thrown out. My friend, Mr. Pope, has talked about emergency traffic, being able to get through. I worked for Gordon County Sheriff's Office for about 12 and a half years. And I was on patrol 10 years of that time. And we had a property called Talking Rock Properties. It was a gated community back of Fairmount, up in the mountains. And the way that emergency traffic could flow in and out of there was they had a gate, it had a code, two different entrances to it. One came in off the Murray County side, one came in off the Gordon County side. And they changed that code periodically. So what we did, if we had emergency call there, we got on the radio and we contacted dispatch. And they would give us the code, not over there, but we'd request it and they'd call it into us on a personal cell phone. If the code had been changed, so there you go, you got the access. It wouldn't be that expensive to do, but that's just one option. But this road, I've lived there since I was in the 8th grade. My parents moved there when I was in the 8th grade. I went to Armurchie Valley School, which it's gone now, but then on to Lafayette High. And as long as I can remember, we've always had problems with just people coming through dumping. I've seen pickup loads dumped. And they didn't dump it in the roadway. Guess where they dumped it? They shoveled it across the fence onto our property or onto other people's property down through there. It was such a problem at one time that Roy Parrish, when he was the commissioner, sole commissioner here in Walker County, he had talked with my dad, Guy Pope, and Bill Shahan about closing the road. You know, they had proposed to close it. 2 signed off on it, but 1 did not. My dad signed off on it. His name was Albert Thomas. Guy Pope signed off on it. But Mr. Shahan did not want it closed, which now Mr. Wise owns that property that Mr. Shahan owned. He was the only one that didn't want it closed at the time. So, but Roy had already agreed he would close it if everybody right there signed off on it, but it just never happened because it had been an ongoing problem for quite some time, and it's still going on. I'm nearly 65 years old and I run a sawmill. That's physical labor. I mean, you know, I'm getting old. I got to have my sleep, and these young hoodlums running up and down the road at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, burning their tires off. That's kind of aggravating. And me and my wife, we picked up some many bear cans down that road. We nicknamed that trail. That's all it is a trail. Once it passes where my mom and dad's property is, it turns into a dirt trail. We nicknamed it the Trail of Beers. Because there's so much, I mean, it's just unreal how much traffic comes through there drinking and throwing their beer cans out. You know, it's just been an ongoing problem for years. And my experience in law enforcement, if you got a road one way in, one way out, there ain't near as much goes on as if they got 2 ways out. So my suggestion is, and I'm speaking for me, and I've got 7 brothers and sisters that owns property on that road. I'm speaking for all of us. I came to represent the whole family. They're all for closing it. So that would be my suggestion to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate those comments. All right, who else would like to come for public comment time?
Hey there, my name's Anita Pope Dunn, and I live on Concord Road. I was born and raised on my family's farm where I continue to live today. And our farm is adjacent to the road. I would like to see it closed for several reasons. As commissioners, I believe an important question to consider here is how much is it going to cost the county to maintain this road if it remains open? My family over the past several years have called several times for a load of gravel here, a load of gravel there, and it was never in the budget. So as my sister has said before, a lot of that gravel on our end of the road comes out of our pocket. It is maintained. My brother-in-law grates it, and my family has bought the gravel. Very few times has the county been able to help us there. Another question is whether the county is willing to not only commit to those funds, but also accept the long-term responsibility of keeping the roads safe and properly maintained for years to come. You've heard several people get up here and say they're gonna use the road for a cut-through when the bridge is worked on. I mean, and that's not even the, designated alternate route. Is that gonna be allowed? A road this narrow with no shoulders, it has limited maintenance and it creates unnecessary safety risk. So I just ask that my family, we're with Mr. Thomas and the other people on the road, none of us signed that petition. We all want the road closed. I ask that you consider all the concerns of those who live on the road and vote in favor of closing it. Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. All right, next.
Nathan Gibson, again, Flintstone, Georgia. I wasn't gonna speak on the transit situation, that Shannon spoke on, because I didn't know what, this was happening, but, raising the rates on those people, that's, I think that's kind of out of the question. And I'm probably gonna butcher this quote, but it was once said that a measure of a society is found in how it treats its weakest and most vulnerable people, or its most weakest and most vulnerable citizens. Jimmy Carter once said that, and some of these people that use our transit are already going through tough times. They're on fixed incomes. Some of them are handicapped. They don't need another hurdle to get over. So if you would take that into consideration. One thing I was going to speak on though is I came up here last month and was talking about the situation up at Macklemore Resort. Y'all told me to call the GP. What is it? Yeah, EPD, and they said, "Do what now?"
It's either EPD or EPA.
Yeah, EPD. Yeah, EPD in Georgia. Yeah, and they said that they are continuing to fail they're not meeting their guidelines. Have you talked to them?
I have not.
At
I
all?
do know that the water samples were taken from our county employees and they've all been sent off and got the results back and it's all in good.
Yeah.
The water at the bottom.
At the bottom?
At Tatum. And all
Okay.
that. Like they check our creeks and waterways. Cause they have to, I think they told me 8 times. Something like that.
Well, the lady told me that at least up there on their end, the E. coli levels is still at unfit levels. So, anyways, just want to keep y'all abreast of that. I still don't see how that was a great idea because that was a waste. That was a sewage treatment system that was built for a small community up there, and then they put a hotel that has 200 and something odd rooms, and now they're just pumping pee and poop through this thing, and now they won't even shut down the rooms to facilitate this problem. So, anyways, y'all take that for what it's worth, and that's it. Like I said, please don't raise the rates on the public transit. It would be doing a lot of people a favor and be doing yourselves a favor spiritually.
Thank you. All right, next.
I'm Jody Harris. I live at Villanelle. I was going to read a letter from my daughter, who's a nurse practitioner, but some of the comments made about the road. I live over on Shahan Lane. We moved there in '88 from Richardson Road, and that road was a dirt road when I moved there. People threw out tires. They threw out beer cans. They drove through there and drank beer. We've cleaned that road up, and 40 years later, we've got a lot of people that live on that road. They may think they're gonna live forever and nobody's gonna need that road, but I think it may be needed for future generations. I don't know why the county hasn't maintained this road. We pay taxes for that road. We use that road. I own property over on Concord Lane and Shahan Lane. I do go through there. I don't throw out beer cans. I don't spin my tires. I drive quietly through there to get where I'm going. We take equipment over to the equipment sale. We buy equipment. We bring it through that road because it's safer. But I think it's very selfish for them want to steal our county land. That's a historic road. It was used by the Cherokee Indians. It was probably a Confederate road. I feel like we need to keep it open for future generations. They're being very selfish to try to take our access and get to South Dip Creek and over to Shahan, Concord Lane. But while I have time, my daughter is a nurse practitioner, and she wanted me to read this letter. She sent it to all the commissioners. Her name is Chris Barrett. She says, I am writing you to express my concerns over the proposed closure of Concord Road. And this comes from Mr. Wise saying at a recent meeting, he already knew the road would be inaccessible during the repair of the bridge. And we think it's critical that it stay open during that time. I'm a medical provider in a rural emergency department as a nurse practitioner. I also live on Easter Murchie Road. She lives on Hunt Drive or Hunt Lane. I grew up in Villanelle. I don't use Concord Road often, but it is an option of travel should the need arise. I will be affected by this closure negatively. I have also read Kent Benson's letter from an engineering point of view and agree with his points. However, my concern is from a medical point of view. My concern is once Concord Road is closed, our medical response time will be longer once Easter Murchie is closed for bridge repair. And that's said to take up to 12 months if it goes as planned. The proposed detour down Dick Creek and Richardson Road is 11 miles. Once Concord Road is closed, there's no other options. Quick medical response times from an emergency standpoint are a critical determinant of patient survival, recovery, and long-term outcomes. Time is very sensitive. Have you heard of the golden hour concept? Probably not if you're not a medical provider. It refers to the first 60 minutes after a traumatic injury. Being in a rural area, we are already experiencing delays since we are 30 to 45 minutes from a hospital. This detour will actually add 11 miles for EMS responders to travel. Do you know how long before the brain cells begin to die without oxygen? It's 4 to 6 minutes. Survival chances drop by 7 to 10% for every minute in delay of CPR and defibrillation. Would you be willing for your loved one to receive care after 11-mile detour? This could happen if this road is closed. Response times in less than 5 minutes can double the survival odds. Do you know how quick a patient with a heart attack should get to a cath lab? It's 90 minutes or less. Have you heard of door to needle time? Approximately 1.9 million neurons are lost every minute during a stroke. This refers to the 45 to 60 minute time frame a stroke patient should receive intravenous clot buster medications to restore blood flow to the brain. In closing, access to timely emergency care for our community should be a priority for our commissioners. Closing a road just because landowners find it an inconvenience or wanting free taxpayer property should not be a priority of elected officials. In fact, the fact that the county has failed to maintain the road, the fact that garbage may be thrown out on the side of the road or landowners say it's unsafe are not justifiable reasons to prevent other local citizens from using this road. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next. Anybody else?
I'm Ralph Harris, Villanelle over there. Y'all sent out the resolution, said the road was gonna cost a lot of money to fix, it's unsafe and everything. Facts, no wrecks. I looked for 50 years back, no wrecks. No maintenance. Jim Pope pulled a FOIA request. Last 3 years, y'all spent zero on that road. I don't know why, we pay our taxes over there. As far as the community, we've got 10-to-1 signatures to keep the road open versus closing it. The community wants it open. What Jody just said about the ambulance and stuff, Mr. Blakemore, Mr. Askew, Mr. Wilson, y'all were gonna be the ones three voting on it. Think if your mama or your grandma lived over there, and I'm just gonna take 11 and a half mile detour to get to her, if she had a medical emergency, and y'all vote on this. If y'all do vote to close it, I only ask one thing, have enough integrity and honesty to close it on everybody. Which means if the public can't drive on it, nobody else can drive on it. If he wants a way in that area, he can cut a road in from Concord, I think it's Concord Lane, Concord Spur. The reason this is going on is because somebody come in from out of county and bought this property. Mr. Culpepper even said this road needs to be open. It's a historical road. Not many dirt roads left in Walker County. But I hope y'all vote with your conscience and do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Carla Hunt, and I live on Concord Lane. And I just want to address Danny Thomas's comment about putting a gate if the road's closed on each end with a code. All right, my husband drives through that road on his tractor 2 or 3 times a week, going around to East Emergy to stay off of 136 so you don't get killed. How is he gonna get over there? Is he gonna call to get a code every time he needs to drive through on his tractor? To go around and mow his aunt's yard or go to his sister's house? And then if the bridge is closed, Concord Road is small, but Richardson Road's smaller. Have you ever been down Richardson Road? It's bumpier than Concord Road. And my uncle, my family has owned that property for over 100 years. But when my uncle died, we sold it to Mr. Weiss, which he can do whatever he wants to with it. But we request that the road stay open for personal reasons. And back when BB was in charge, she was commissioner, she paved that little road and ruined it. That's why it has so many potholes. It looks so bad. It's because what she did to it. But Mr. Weiss just put some gravel in there because his daughter got married and they needed a way to have the buses come from his little pavilion over there on Concord Road to his house on Concord Lane. He did improve it by just adding a little bit of gravel. We go down that road to go to church from Concord Lane over to East Emergy Church. So people do use that road, and I have seen in my lifetime, I'm 73, in my lifetime I've seen one bunch of garbage on the side of the road. I got out, looked through the papers, found out who did it, went to their house and told them they better have it cleaned up by tomorrow, and they did. So people who dump trash over there usually don't live in that area. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Come on up.
I'm Michael Wise in Villanelle. By the way, thank you guys for what you do. I don't envy your position. The proposal to keep Concord Road open as a public through road is difficult to justify when the facts surrounding its current use, function, and impact are carefully examined. First, Concord Road serves little practical value as a through route. There are already 2 county-maintained roads that provide significantly better access between East Armurchie Road and Highway 136. The county's own actions demonstrate this reality. Concord Road has received minimal maintenance for years because it's not an important transportation corridor. Second, Claims that the road is necessary for emergency access are not supported by current practice. Emergency vehicles do not use Concord Road as a primary or faster route to any destination. However, we are fully available and willing to put a gate code to be sure emergency personnel have a gate code if we put a gate up. I definitely don't want to put my neighbors in jeopardy, especially school buses full of kids. Third, while Concord Road is certainly old, its historical significance appears to be tied primarily to Concord Church and the adjacent adjacent cemetery. Those historic resources would remain completely unaffected by the proposed abandonment. The section of roadway serving the church is already paved, maintained, and fully accessible. Preserving access to these historic landmarks does not require maintaining the entire road as a public through route. Fourth, the argument that Concord Road is needed during the upcoming bridge project on East Armuchee Road is contradicted by the county's own plans. The county has designated South Dick Creek Road as the official detour route. County officials have determined that Concord Road is not capable of safely handling the anticipated traffic volumes and will therefore be legally closed to through traffic during construction. By definition, closed to through traffic means the unimproved section of the road will not be available to the general public and will only remain accessible to the two adjoining property owners and emergency personnel, of course. Fifth, the residents and property owners most directly affected by this section of road, including those living on both the maintained and unimproved section, are overwhelmingly expressed their support for closure through a signed petition. While public input from all interested parties is valuable, it's these neighboring landowners who experience the road's impact firsthand. Their perspective deserves significant consideration as the commission evaluates the best path forward. Finally, the issue of creating a walking trail should be treated as entirely separate from the question of road abandonment. Georgia law has long recognized that the traditional purpose of abandonment is to discontinue a public use that is no longer necessary, not to transfer the property to a non-adjoining private organization for a different purpose altogether. In summary, Concord Road no longer serves a meaningful public transportation function. It is not relied upon for emergency access, it's unnecessary to preserve the area's historic resource, and it's already been deemed unsuitable as a detour route by the county itself. The property owners most directly affected support abandonment, and discussions regarding recreational trail development should not be allowed to cloud the central issue. For these reasons, abandonment of Concord Road is both reasonable and justified. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else wants to come to public comment?
We're done with the road. I have a comment. Sorry for trying to jump ahead, but I misread something. Anyway, I'm here to talk or ask you about the data center study group. My name is Don Van Pernis. I live in Rock Spring. One of the things that I had the misfortune to always encounter in business was endless meetings and study groups. What a waste of time. And those of you who have been in those circumstances probably can agree with me. And so I guess the bottom line here is, after listening to the folks that have already talked about data centers and how they don't want them here, it's quite obvious what the segment of or a part of the community here has opinions about. And so I would also question then, why are we having a study group? What's the goals of the study group? Who is going to be on the study group? And what is their time frame for reaching a conclusion? If we had that information at hand, perhaps it might make a little bit more sense. But on the other hand, maybe it wouldn't. Again, I have seen so many study groups that just ate up time and really never accomplished anything other than a report, and everybody said, yeah, fine, and they walked away. So if we're going to go ahead with this study group, and I think perhaps it might be worthwhile, then one of the things that needs to be done up front is, what's your goal? What is your time frame? Where are you gonna get your data? How are you gonna substantiate it? And when and are you going to make a report that reflects what your goals are? The other thing that I would ask on this is, if we really truly want to have a study group, why do we want to go ahead with this when we already have 180 days of suspension on the data, I'm sorry for stuttering, with the data centers at moratorium? So that's a question I would ask. The other thing is, what could we say that we could get this all done in 2 months' time, or 2 different commission meetings, so that we would have a concrete idea of what the plans are going to be for the county and where they sit in their desires or undesires to have a data center here? I think those are reasonable requests. The other thing is, let me tell you, if you're not aware of it, how fast things move. Did you realize that last week, OpenAI, which is a major main AI company, has just set up shop to put a big concern in Savannah, Georgia? How did they get to Savannah? Well, we don't know, but they had the key to the door. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, this whole thing on data centers here is really the utmost importance as to where the county is going to go in the future with those. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for being here tonight. All right, who else would like to come forward?
Me.
Okay.
Is this yours?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Hey, my name's Cindy Breeden. I'm from Rossville. I just wanted to talk about, I wish the county commissioners would discuss the future of county-owned property with the city of Rossville before making any decisions to sell it. As our city works to reestablish the Rossville Downtown Development Authority, it is important that the city has a voice in how these properties may impact our future. The RDDA should have an opportunity to help determine what types of businesses and developments are brought into our city. Rossville is a small city with limited land available for future growth. Every development opportunity matters, and collaboration between the county and the city can help ensure these properties are used in ways that support long-term economic development goals and reflect the needs and vision of our community. I'm saying this because all this about the property that is up for sale by the county, half an acre on McFarland Avenue, which is the main road through Rossville. Through the city of Rossville. Property that was gifted, donated to the county, and has been maintained, mowed by the Rossville city. I'm asking for y'all to consider what would be good for Rossville, and consider gifting or donating the property to the Rossville city for development. Just as the city gifted and gave the county that 8.86 acres for Adventure Acres Park. It's not too late to work with Rossville City about this property. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name's Jason Rader. I'm also from Rossville City Council, as Cindy Breeden. I didn't plan on getting up here to speak today, and I think it's very odd that she just got up here to speak on exactly what I was getting ready to ask the board. We probably should have been on the agenda for this, but I too would like for the board to consider donating the 0.5 acres at parcel 2007032 McFarland Avenue. Like she was saying, we could possibly, use our judgment for development, But I'd also like to consider, maybe using, tourism tax dollars to at least build it's a small lot, there's not much there, so people like to come to right in that area there and take pictures of trains coming through. So maybe we could, use tourism tax dollars to build a platform for people to use to take pictures from. And, as she said, that I'd just like for y'all to consider giving that to the city of Rossville.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Sure, go ahead.
Oh, I don't care. Go ahead, I'll wait a week. Jamie Hulse at Chickamauga. For a long time, I hadn't planned on speaking, but I get prompted to. Budget postponement. Just came up with, changed the agenda. What's the next step? Y'all discussing or have another budget workshop that'll be quorum made public, or y'all just gonna wait till next month and vote? I mean, we need to know. You just postpone it for some reason.
We did, so we discussed briefly before the meeting next Wednesday. We're gonna work that out probably tomorrow. We meet next week. It'll be
Possibly.
open to the public. Can't meet obviously by ourselves.
So it'll be televised for public to view?
Soon.
It'll be a quorum.
Yeah, we have
so
to-
you gotta-
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an open meeting. We
Okay.
televised the other ones, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Sure.
Mhm.
All right, just so we'll know. And
But I'm not guaranteeing it's Wednesday. We just,
Right.
we
It'll
just,
be,
I
it'll
don't
be,
know
it'll be
what.
announced,
Yeah,
but we just
yeah.
briefly discussed that. We gotta get our schedule.
Okay, well, I got a few minutes left. A few bullet points, and this, nothing planned as a whole speech, but, the point was brought up about recusing themselves. Relatives, business associations, ask you, didn't you know about that? Related to the fire department, should recuse on anything to do with the fire department. Blakemore should have recused on the Mack truck deal, which he laid cost the citizens $150,000 more dollars, along with Gene Wilson. Gene Wilson should disclose and recuse himself, talking to Prater Construction, since he's a shareholder in his company, that's done business with Prater for years, and the future of those ball fields and things, to make sure these two guys, if they're still on the commission, aren't profiting from that deal. The $10 million that was advertised to the public, which said you and the finance refused, that the employees won $10 million more dollars. And y'all said, no, that's 25% addition to the budget. Now I'm sitting there, wow. It came back, open records requests are not being provided. We did an open record request for that $10 million that y'all refused. We have interest, it's been stated, it's known. I got a spreadsheet, 8,401 lines of some mumbo jumbo crap that didn't define what that $10 million was. So then I think, well, was it the truth? Where's the open, 3 days by law? Y'all can provide the open record
You can
request?
say something, go ahead.
I'd love to. So yes, the budget we had at the first budget workshop where we met with the board, it was 3 days long. That was at $6.5 million. Before that, there was a budget request that was a $12.5 million, deficit or difference between the years prior.
Yeah.
That Excel spreadsheet contained all the data. I hadn't had something like this prepared with a summary. And
But
all.
you knew what made up the $10 million.
Correct, and it was submitted.
And it wasn't provided to us.
It was provided in the Excel spreadsheet.
8,401 lines. Well, that's a failure of competence if you're providing that as the reason of the $10 million overage, which to me, then it goes public to the world, Chattanooga. So you threw the employees under the bus for requesting 25% increase in spending, department heads, to the world. I'd have been fired on the spot if I made my employees look like that all of a sudden. And to sit there, and then you think, since you can't understand or comprehend 8,401 lines, that, okay, the open records was useless. Okay, that was terrible. I don't think in your meets with department, okay, we wanted 5 cars, 10 employees, this and this and this. So it was useless. and it was requested again. 8,401 lines to determine why, and then threw the employees under the bus saying, oh, they won't spend all this money. Then you go public. Then all of a sudden it just looks like smoke and mirrors to make the 2.8 million look good. That's the perception. Perception's truth, okay? No excuse for 8,401 lines. You add them up, it's 500 and something million dollars if you add all those lines up.
That's why we have a 79-page.
There can't be an excuse for it. It's simple. Add up the dollars that made up the 10 million and provide it. 8,000 lines. You get it? If you don't know Excel, you couldn't even, what is this? So, anyway, roads, trash. I know it's funny, but it don't matter if it's a dirt road, paved road. There's paved roads that are probably more dangerous than that dirt road out there. And it's regardless if the county's not maintaining a road its own, that's what people pay for. So that's excuses in itself. And all I can imagine, somebody's got a lot of money paying to have this thing closed versus what the community wants out there. It's been there for years. So I don't know why it's been almost a year probably topic every time a dirt road comes up. It's crazy. And talking about the city of Rossville Downtown Development Authority, they have power. Sure, it's not, it needs to be reestablished, but hey, we pay the JDA. We give the JDA everything. Then we give it all and lose money. It's still without a cost benefit analysis. Nobody knows where that value, how we're going to get it back. Again, I'll relate to the Macklemore deal is when we're going to get that $2 or $3 per dollar back. How? When? Why? And then we pay them all that money. Walker Water Authority has been managing that wastewater treatment plant, I think since 2022 or something. So you got Walker County touching that. Who signed off and gave COs and permits on the hotel and the houses without even making sure the wastewater treatment plant could handle it? Walker County? What the heck?
There's a prior administration.
No, ma'am, this is the Walker Commission, and I'm looking here.
Sir.
That one that was still there, that one was here.
Sir, you are out of order and your time is up. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not
You're out of order. I'm saying you're out of order.
Order of running a business.
Thank you for coming tonight. All right, does anybody else want to, yes, thank you for that. Does anybody else want you to come, thank you for waiting.
Subject. I want to go back to Concord Road.
Sure.
Okay, I'm Stephen Grigsby. Stephen Grigsby from Villanelle. I've heard there's been several reasons over this whole process has been presented to y'all to keep the road open. Good reasons, I feel like, to keep the road open. Versus very few reasons that I've heard to close the road. Good reasons to close the road. Yeah, there's been some trash, but all roads have some trash.
Sir, will you hold on one second? There's some noise in the lobby and the gallery. Would you please turn off the back, whatever the. Okay. Well, I just didn't want it to be interruptive. If it's not interrupting his microphone, then we're good. Please continue.
Okay, all I was wanting to point out, I mean, there's been a lot of reasons to keep the road open versus very few reasons that I have heard, and I've been keeping up with this whole process. I haven't heard any good reason to close the road. Mr. Weiss, a very nice guy, met him a while ago, very nice guy, but you can't please everybody tonight. Somebody's going to be disappointed. There's no good reason to close that road. I've heard that there's four-wheelers on the road at night. I was talking to someone, had a guy tell me the other day that if you keep the road, then Walker County would be liable in the event of an accident. Well, I think that Walker County has always been held liability to all the county roads. I mean, so there's no sense of urgency that I'm aware of to close this road. And if there was a natural disaster and trees were down on Dick Creek and the north end of East Emergency, how would we get out? You'd have to fly us out. I mean, it could be serious. I hope that never happens, but it could. And if there was any concern about any liability on that road in the event of a collision, maybe we could consider, instead of closing the road, put up some signage. Put a speed limit sign up on each end, one lane road sign, whatever you have to do. There's other alternatives. That road connects two major roads, and without it, it's obviously an 11-mile round trip, which is that's we need Concord Road. It's always been there. It was put there for a reason. I just ask you, whatever decision you make tonight, make it to where you'll be satisfied with it. You're going to be happy with it in the event that someone did have an accident and needed emergency care. Say in the event that the bridge may be out. If you close that road and it took an 11 mile to get to my house, it could be life threatening. And I want to tell you what, my mother-in-law had a stroke. My mother-in-law lives with me and my wife. She had a stroke about 2 weeks ago. If the bridge had been out and Concord Road had been closed, they would have had to win 11 miles to get to my house out of the way. Strokes are, like Jody pointed out, her daughter is in the medical profession. She pointed out time is of the essence, and it could happen. It could happen to anybody. It happened at my house 2 weeks ago. Just ask you to make a wise decision.
We hope she gets better fast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
Juanita Bonham, Villanelle, Concord Road. I wasn't going to say anything tonight. I don't want to be argumentative. I am also a medical professional. I'm an advanced practice nurse. I take call. I work and am required to get to my place of where I practice in a certain amount of time. Time is absolutely of the essence when it comes to medical issues. I personally have driven Concord Road and timed it. I can tell you by fact that it is less time to drive Richardson Road to Dix. I've had 3 people do it, and
All right,
I'm
just
not
keep-
trying to be argumentative.
Yeah, just keep focused
But I
up
will
here.
say that it's not like we're talking, yes, it may be a longer distance, but Dix Creek Road is a paved road that you can drive much faster on. If you're driving Concord like you ought to be driving on a dirt road, you are not going to get there quicker going that way. Just saying.
Excuse me, what was your name one more time?
Sure, Juanita Monham.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to approach the board? Come forward, please.
You gotta be quick. Mary Wise, Concord Lane, Concord Road, and I am so sorry to keep this conversation going, but I wanted to clarify about EMS and fire access. Municipalities work all the time with landowners to gain access in case of emergency. And there's a established system called Knox Box, KNOX box, in which emergency services have master keys and master codes. So there's no waiting and there's no changing of codes these days. Like it's a reliable process that gets used on a regular basis. And if anyone has any reluctance about making the decision to close it, we invite you to come out and see us and drive the road yourself and time the road yourself. If you need to see those tight curves and the blind curves, we would love for you guys to come out and let us ride you around.
I have driven it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Mary
you.
Wise. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
Gary Williams, District 4. I'm looking at read over Resolution R-050-26, which is in your packet there toward the back. Y'all gonna be looking at this. This is to apply application for a grant for 370 Salem Road in Rossville. Land and Water Conservation Fund. I'm not sure. I guess that's coming from the state. It's not. You can correct me on that. How much is that money gonna be? How much you gonna apply for the grant?
Well,
Much?
that's the thing, we're just applying for it, we don't know how much they'll, if we are awarded, we don't know how much it would be. And even if we get awarded, the board can still decline to even pursue that project. So just because we're applying doesn't mean that we're gonna absolutely go through with this project.
I've seen most of these, and especially with the past chair, where there was, the same process was done, and then it just went right on through, got the grant, and then, so there you go, there's some money right there coming from taxpayers. Then it says you're gonna, the intention is finance 50% of the total project. So there's 50%, who knows, you don't know what the money you're voting for or against. So there's some savings right there if you do not do this and get this grant. There's some savings there, especially the 50%. I mean, it's all taxpayers' money, I assume, because it's a grant. So I would hope y'all just would scratch this one or deny it and save the tax. You're looking for money, save money. Well, this is one way to do it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we've approached and passed the 3-hour mark. Does the board need another break? No? Good? All right, is there anybody else that wants to public comment before I close on this?
I have a question.
Come to the podium, please.
Excuse me. Third time's the charm. I promise y'all won't let me come back again. Evelyn Garmany from Chickamauga. Stanley Matthews brought forth quite a bit of information about soil and water samples. Does Mark not address those, answer his concerns here, or how is that done?
We don't have any information from that, from what I understand.
Well, you started to answer when he was talking.
Said it didn't have the results.
Okay.
Okay. That's all, that's with our attorneys, and there's litigation. We can't discuss it if I knew, but we don't have the results.
Well, he did say a couple of times that FOIA requests had been refused. How would that happen?
I have no idea.
Because it's in litigation.
Because of litigation.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I did not understand. I just wanted
Sure.
clarification.
Thanks
you
for the
very
question.
much.
I'm sure other people had that same question. Okay, we will move on then to the next item, which is old business, which is the Concord Road. So we heard lots of statements about that, for and against. We've read lots of emails and lots of letters. We've taken phone calls. The board has taken this very seriously. So I ask now, is there a motion from the board on closing a portion of Concord Road?
I'll make a motion to abandon the dirt portion of Concord Road.
Okay, so that's a motion to approve the,
Approve the abandonment of the dirt portion.
is there a second motion?
Second.
Is it Mr. Blakemore? Thank you. Okay, what discussion does the board want to have, if any?
I was curious. I'm familiar with the Knox box, and the gate closure type situation. I do see that there's a concern in the event of, as we've been told earlier tonight, accidents do happen. But I think that's something that could be considered. I don't know that emergencies, that they need that route. But that's something that could be considered, if the board wanted to entertain that, for that purpose, for the purpose of if there were needed to be emergency access, from either end. But, it was just a good comment and, a kind of a compromise.
We have a motion on the floor to approve it in a second, so I will ask for a vote unless there's further discussion needed. Okay, then, again, we have a motion from Mr. Wilson for approval of the closure of portion of Concord Road. Mr. Blakemore seconded that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right.
And I would abstain from the vote, yes.
Thank you for saying that. All right, so the item was approved by the board to close a portion of Concord Road. And then the next thing we're going to do is to move to the consent agenda. Does the board want to remove any item in the consent agenda?
No, ma'am.
All right, hearing none, then I make the motion that both items be approved. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any, okay, all in favor to approve both?
One question.
Yes,
What is
please.
the match on that?
We won't know until we know the
Okay, so
amount.
this is just approved
The application.
to submit the application.
Yes, sir.
It's a 50-50 match, so we
It
don't
will
know
be.
what the total amount is.
And that's why I said the board could deny it. That's
if we don't
right.
wanna
That's,
allot
if
that
it's too much money, that's right, exactly.
That's right.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Is there anything else over here?
No, I wanted to understand that as well. So it's 50-50. It's an application. It comes back and it's more than what we're interested in doing.
It comes back at $10, we give 5. It comes back 10 million, we give 5 million. That's the way I read it, right, Angie?
Yes, that's correct.
But we'll have that decision
Yes.
when that'll be a
Yes,
decision
this is not
after.
binding the
Okay.
board to
That's
do
what
it.
I
It's just
thought. That's what I just want to make sure.
Yes. And we will take this very seriously because of the budget items. All right, so I made the motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Hart made the second, I believe. Is that right? Did I remember? Who made the second?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Okay, thank you. We've had discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, everybody said yes to the consent agenda items. Moving on to new business. The first and second items were removed from the agenda earlier, and we will move to the next item, Resolution R-05526, establishing a temporary moratorium on data centers for 180 days. What's the pleasure of the board on this?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Hart, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Askew, is there any discussion about this item?
Yes, ma'am. So there was a lot of discussion about this. The reason we did this, one of Angie's town hall meetings, Dawn was there and Laura Owens' meeting, started discussing it at length. And after that meeting, Angie and I discussed putting this moratorium on because, like Gene said, we didn't have anything on our books. If somebody would have come in the next day and said, we're building a data center, we didn't have anything governing them at all. No zoning and or land use permits. So we didn't have any, if they come in, we would have had to allow it. So that's why we put these on. And this study group, as we'll talk about in a minute, is something that Stephanie Watkins and John Pursley will head up to, very important people in our county. And I think it's a good thing. I've already talked to 4 different people in my district about serving on it. So I got
Great.
to cut that down to 2, but
Good.
I do think it is a very positive thing, looking into it and just, we may come back and say never build one, but we still have to look into it. So that's what I want to say about the data centers. Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion? All right, we have the first motion by Mr. Hart to approve, second motion by Mr. Askew. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, it is so passed. The next item is Resolution R-056-26, establishing a data center study group, which Mr. Hart kind of led into that, but we'll go ahead and get a vote started, then we can discuss it. Is there a motion on this item, please?
Yes, so moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. So now we can discuss whatever, you want to add anything else
No,
to
I had
that?
nothing to add. I didn't mean to jump
Okay.
over to it, but
No,
I
you're
think
fine.
I think it's a good idea to do it. I think we need to choose the people carefully that we put on it, as I know we will,
Yes.
to look into it.
Yeah, each board member will choose 2 from their district. My choices were Stephanie Watkins, the EDA director, and John Pursley, our director of planning and zoning, because we don't have zoning for that. So once the district commissioners pick their few people, then they will have a charge of what they're supposed to do, what their goal is, how often they will report to this board, and they have, I'm going to push them to do it sooner than 180 days, because that's when the moratorium ends.
Yeah, the deadline for our appointments is August the 10th.
That's right. That's Monday, yeah.
Correct.
All right,
And I think you said it, but Stephanie will chair the board, John will vice chair. Is that correct?
that's correct, yes. And we also have the chamber as a person on there, as a side person, so the chamber president is part of that as well. All right, so do we have a motion on, did we do that already?
We got a motion in a second.
On the study group? Okay. I'm sorry?
We still have to vote, he said, yeah.
We still have to vote. That's what I thought. Okay.
It's late.
So do I have a motion from the board to establish a data-centered study group?
You got a motion, you got a second.
I already
We're
had that?
voting.
Yeah.
You got them both.
Sorry.
Long night.
It has been a long night. Thank you for understanding that. Okay, so is there any more discussion?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You, any nays? All right, so the study group will continue as designed. Now, the next one is Resolution R-057-26 to amend the rates at the Walker County Transit Service. So as the speaker said before, that we needed to check with GDOT to make sure we weren't in violation of anything. And Christian, you had got an email from our GDOT representative saying that our proposed increases will not affect our transit agreement with GDOT. Okay, so I just wanted the board to know that.
What about the federal grants that Shannon?
We don't get any federal grants for that. Just state.
It is all a federal grant.
It's a state, GDOT.
Well, it passed through GDOT.
Okay, gotcha.
Comes from the federal.
So,
Speak on this?
sure, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
So, to try to work on expenses and revenue, we've been doing a lot of hard looks, and transit is a place that I think we need to look at, because the general fund is funding a lot more than 50% match. I know that was stated before, but that is not true. The general fund is paying a lot of money to subsidize the transit service. Currently, what is on the agenda today is to increase the rates from $4 to $10 with a discounted rate to seniors and disabled individuals to $5. This service is utilized by not just medical trips. This is utilized to take citizens to work, to transport citizens to the drug court, to an eye doctor, and sometimes the eye doctor they're going to is all the way in Shallowford. So we've looked at this really hard. We want to make sure that we're being conservative and looking at every expense, because fuel cost goes up. And when you have a bus that's dedicated to drive to Shallowford Road in Chattanooga, that bus is tied up in there. And there are plenty of eye doctors all down in Lafayette and in Walker County. So I think that's something that needs to be assessed as well. And I think the board chair is looking at that. Currently, expenditures, right now we receive about 27% in grant funding for without the buses included. So that's just our operating grant. The general fund matches that by 27% of the total cost, and then throws in an additional 20%. So we're funding this a lot more, and then we have 17% as fees. So the math is there that some operational things need to change, or the general fund needs to consider this as a service and keep funding and increase the budget for this item. Right now, we have a DHS rate of $18. So that is what they pay to transport one of their people. So we're charging $4, so there's a huge discrepancy there, and I think that that should be considered. If it's not increased, I mean, I don't.
We just
It
keep
is what it
coming
is,
out.
but
And
I
our
don't-
sister
we've-
counties, they don't go out of their county, right?
I don't know.
Pretty sure they don't.
I don't recall that.
Yeah.
I think that if we do go out of county, it should be for maybe the hospital in Catoosa.
I think it should be for life situations like dialysis and things like
Yeah,
that.
but I'm just an advisor.
Yes, thank you for speaking.
Of course,
About
any
that.
questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Annetta really worked really hard on this, and she did a great job.
So I'm just gonna say, I appreciate your hard work.
Mhm.
I appreciate your hard work. But where I stand on this, it is a service to the citizens. And I'm not gonna vote to increase it at all. If anything, I would like to see it go down to 0. I had this same argument with the past chair, Catoosa County don't charge to ride theirs. Obviously, I feel like if you have money, you're gonna ride in a car, you're not gonna ride on transit. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but why kick somebody when they're down? That's
Understand
my
that.
2 cents.
Thank you. This is a good example, though, of, oh, hi, Amanda. The director's here if they all have questions for her. But this is a good example of how we did take a deep dive into all the departments and try to find operational changes and tighten up where things were being spent, where could be not spent. So this is a good example of that exercise. We did that with every department. I know the public doesn't know that, but that's a good example of how we have done that. Does anybody have any questions for Amanda? She did show up.
Well, since you're on that topic,
Excuse me.
what percent of transit is the general fund propping up? No, it's not standalone making money or even
Nope.
breaking even, but what percent is it propping it up?
So
Approximately.
the total expenditure is 47%, and the grants funding 27% of that.
So how much are we?
I don't have the dollar amount. I should have. So our expenditures right now, as of 2025, fiscal year 25, was $1.3 million, and the revenue generated was $600,000.
So just
So $700,000.
the math there is, yeah, it's a lot.
That's a little bit more than the percentage I said, but the other portion, most of that comes from the general fund.
Well, you got, yeah,
transfer.
we get the fee, the fee
Yeah.
that we charge.
Yeah, okay. My next question, if you don't mind, so how do the rates compare to neighboring counties, Catoosa, Chattooga?
Excuse me, sorry, I have a cough. I don't know what Catoosa, I think Catoosa is mentioned at 0. I don't know the
Honestly, I don't know either.
that.
Amanda, do you happen to know what the other counties?
Whitfield charges $4. I know that.
It's a different funding. They're a 5307 now, so they're not a 5311. I'm not
They're
sure.
they're not even in GDOT anymore.
Oh,
They're,
okay.
They're in the CARTA system.
Okay. Well, in Whitfield and Catoosa also, they have a lot more money coming in their counties from the interstate, of course. And we don't have an influx of money like that, like they do.
And Whitfield is a 5307 now, instead of being what we are as a 5311,
Right.
which they get 80% match in grant funding. So
Can we be a 5307?
we have to be a metropolitan.
Oh, okay. Tried. Anything else for them?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here. Thank you. Okay.
I do have a comment, well,
Have we voted yet? I don't think we voted on it. Let's do that first and we'll do a comment. Is that okay? Do you want to say something? Go ahead and say it. I'm tired.
no. I just feel like, I kind of feel the same way that Robert does. We've got to take deep dives and look to where we can save. But this is a service that is probably serving some of the ones that need it the most. I believe that now. I do think we need to understand and see about this, the funding, and if we're not getting what we're supposed to be getting on, the match or whatever.
We just hit the cap.
So, okay. So, but I think that it's, to double the fee on them, I don't know that I can't support that. I think that we should stay where we are and for now, and we're still doing a deep dive into the budget, and then we can see where we are.
So you want to make the motion to deny the resolution, and that's fine.
The increase, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a denial. Is there a second to the denial?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor to deny this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so there's that one. Thank you for the healthy conversation, though. We appreciate that. We will take another look at that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, as we said earlier, 16.6, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong numbers probably. The budget for fiscal year 27 and the special revenue budget for fiscal 27 has been taken off the agenda, so we'll move on to the purchase orders. We have three purchase orders. The first one is purchase order 2026-00002302 in the amount of $40,904.41 to purchase Hearst hydraulic tools for emergency services. Is there a pleasure of the board for this item?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Wilson, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion about this item?
And
Oh,
these
uh-huh.
funds are coming from
His budget.
The fire department budget.
I see.
Yeah.
For the budget for this year, okay.
Yes.
I'm good.
His small tools, I think he said, in there.
I think it's
Small
Jaws of Life and something like that.
tools, Small tool budget line.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, that purchase order is approved. The next purchase order is 2026-00002312 in the amount of $59,675.00 for Chase Reline Incorporated for the slip line or PVC fold-in-place liners for the Ivy Street project. We will get this Ivy Street project finished one day. This is money coming from the T-Splosh. And so is there a motion from the board, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Carlin was here if you had questions. He may be gone. Any questions, though, I might can answer? All right, all right. All in favor to approve this purchase order, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, this purchase order is also approved. And the last one is purchase order 2026-00002314 in the amount of $44,811.00 to NABCO Electric Company for emergency traffic light replacement at intersection of McFarland Avenue, Mission Ridge. This is another project that's taken a long time to finish, but I think we're close on both of these. These may be the last actual POs that we have to request. Is there a motion from the board on this item, please?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Wilson, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Blakemore, is that you? Thanks. Bless you.
Thank you.
All in favor, is there any discussion about this item?
And these funds come from, is this T-Splosh 2, Mr. Chairman? Or?
44.
Wasn't that an accident? Didn't,
We're pursuing insurance money, so this is gonna go to our general fund. and hopefully get the insurance.
Yeah,
it
the
was because of a
person,
wreck.
Because of the wreck, insurance money, okay.
The wreck took down all the poles. They got it temporaried up.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
thanks, Christian.
Well, I'm with Bill now, I didn't know that.
Good.
Okay, that's my only question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, this one is approved also. All right, we'll move on to commissioner comments now. Mr. Blakemore, do you have comments tonight?
No, I'm gonna give it on to Askew.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Thank
Askew?
you for everybody being patient, long night, a lot of input, a lot of good conversation. Thanks to all of our employees who worked very hard, thanks to the staff who's been working diligently to try to get us a budget together that we can work with, so just thanks to everybody for their hard work.
Mr. Hart?
Nothing to add, it's past my bedtime.
Okay. And Mr. Wilson?
thanks for everybody coming out, watch school zones. All the schools will be back in session starting. Walker County started this week.
Yeah,
Chickamauga's tomorrow, so
it's a busy time.
yes.
All right, is there a need for executive session from the board?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, you sure you don't want to go into more detail? All right, then I will say we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
This the kind.